What is up, hooligans? And happy freedom. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're over on Rumble, please hit that like button. See if you can get us on the front page. Gonna read through the schedule really quick, and then we will be checking on all the chats. So let me know how you guys are doing today. Then, of course, we will be getting things started. Before we get any further, I want to remind you guys, if you would like to join the website, right now is the time to do it. Go get yourself a membership for jeffmaclive.com. That way you can watch today's live. You can post in Hooligans Alley, and you can hang out with all the hooligans in the group chats. Plus, you'll even be able to join us Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern time for our voice chat over on the website, which is a lot of fun. So definitely go get yourself a membership for jeffmaclive.com. We're going to be starting off with a video titled Reality Check. Aerospace scientist claims to have precognition and telepathy, and apparently they can record it, and they can record you using your thoughts or whatever they're trying to say. You don't need the Neuralink. You don't need Neuralink for this. You just have this ability. I don't know. Figure we start with a crazy story. Then we got a video titled New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal charges. It's related to the Turkish government nonsense that started probably over a year ago. This is what happens when you cross old man Walter. He's going down. Then we got a video titled How a Looming Port Strike Could Impact the U.S. Economy. Apparently all those people at the port are getting ready to go on strike, and if they do, it's going to hurt produce and other goods that expire, and that's going to cause inflation. That's what they're saying anyways. Then we got a video titled White House Rolling Out a Plan to Reduce Gun Violence. Apparently they're going to force the schools to create new active shooter drills. They have also, or they're going to create a new task force, which is really weird. I'd like to know how many different committees and task force and all this crap has old man Walter created since he's been in office, because it seems like we have more government than ever before now. Also, they talk about switches. You either know what that is or you don't, but what's really interesting is they don't talk about them by name in that video as well. They want to stop people from using illegal accessories on firearms, but they don't want to tell you what it's called. So they don't care that damn much. Then we have a video titled JD Vance says he's looking forward to debating Tim Walz. We will be covering that Tuesday afternoon. I don't know what time it is yet, probably 9 p.m. or something like that, like the other debate was. But either way, we will be covering it. JD Vance says he's ready. Then we got a video titled Oklahoma set to execute death row inmate Emmanuel Littlejohn on Thursday. I think that's a really interesting story because he committed crime. He did some bad stuff or whatever, but it's nothing compared to what these border crossers are doing, and they don't even kind of sort of get a death penalty suggestion. Even the people who committed the 911 day, you know what I'm talking about, flying those planes right into the building, even they were not susceptible to the death penalty. But this guy who did some stuff back in the 90s, oh yeah, they're all excited for him to go down. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. Then we got two good videos. I don't know what to call them. First one's kind of a funny video. The second one's kind of a feel-good video. The first one's titled And So It Begins. And our official good video of the day is titled Alfie's Happy to See Us. All of that's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat and see how you hooligans are doing today. What is up, everyone over on jeffmaclive.com? What's up, Zero? What's up, Russell? What's up, Breeze by You? What's up, Josh D? What's up, Annette? What's up, Alistair? What's up, Get Some J? What's up, Snooks? What's up, J Spray? What's up, Hair Juicer? Happy freedom, you hooligans. Appreciate all of you guys being on the website. And what is up, everyone over on Rumble? Cody, you were first today. I appreciate you racing to the chat, Cody. You're a badass. What's up, Breeze by You? Appreciate you being omnipresent. What's up, Sawdog? What's up, Brian? What's up, Elder Zoomer? What's up, Astro Hammer? Alistair, you're omnipresent. I appreciate you. What's up, Cody? You were first. Let's see. What's up, Black White Bull? Appreciate you being here. Why is my eyes so blurred today? I would love to be done with the bad days. 8 days in a row of bad days and being sick and everything else. God's testing me. Let me see. Guess I'm Jay, you're omnipresent as well. I appreciate you. Let me see here. What's up, Puff and Stuff? Happy freedom. Cat Daniels, you stop that. He wants to be swinging from the curtains. I'm going to feed him to the Haitians. Anyways, what's up, Zupia? What's up, Pumpkin? Happy freedom. What is your name? What's up, people? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Bobby? Doo-doo-doo. What's up, Mr. Satan? Appreciate you being here. What's up, Ralph? Happy freedom to you. What's up, MU? Happy freedom. I think we got everyone. What's up, Master Meatball? What's up, Matthew? Don't forget, hit that like button over here on Rumble. See if you can get us on the front page. Alistair, you're omnipresent. What is up, everyone over on Kick? What's up, Zeus Boot? What's up, Pag? Happy Freedom. And what is up, everyone over on Twitch? What's up, Rods? Master Meatball, you're omnipresent. I appreciate you. What's up, Buck? Came back for more, did you? That's okay. That's okay. What's up, Tony Rich? Happy Freedom. And what is up, everyone over on the communism platform? Did this ever launch or didn't launch? Oh, it did launch. Okay. There I be. There I be. What's up, Toy Mafia? What's up, Alistair? You are everywhere. You're a badass. What's up, Dirtbike Freedom? Happy Freedom to you, hooligans. All right, let's go ahead and get things started. Right when I click go live, my left ear got clogged, and now I can't hear shit out of the left side of my head. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started on this first video. It's titled Reality Check. Aerospace scientists claim to have precognition and telepathy. We got telepathic aerospace scientists. Yeah, it's not quite a Chinese spy balloon, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Just about. Oh, what the hell did I do? Story of my life. Anyways, before we get into this, I got to remind you guys we have these outraged hooligan t-shirts. If you can't read it, it says, if you are not outraged, you are not paying attention. These shirts were designed by Alistair because he's such a badass. This design comes in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, stickers, dog tags, all kinds of stuff. Today I got on the Hooligan 2A tank top. We got lots of items and lots of designs over on the merch store. I'll drop the link in the chat while we're watching this first video.
20 minutes to the top of the hour here. Could psychic abilities be connected with otherworldly phenomena? News Nation's Ross Coldhart talks with an aerospace scientist who says he can measure psychic abilities on the latest episode of News Nation's Reality Check. Take a listen.
I've seen really a lot. Some look like some of these Indian gods. Some don't have really a shape. In some cases, you just hear them somehow in your own voice. In some other cases, they are non-human, insectoids, for instance.
Ross is scratching his head, as am I. I got to know more. But first, scan the QR code on your screen to watch that episode now. Joining me now, we have News Nation special correspondent Ross Coldhart. Ross, thank you. I have a feeling this is about to get weird. You were scratching your head, too. And my first thought is, whoa, whoa, whoa. Most of America is still digesting the possibility of UFOs. Now psychic abilities.
Good morning, Marky. Well, this is an exciting one because Dr. Andrea Lani is a very well-respected aerospace engineering scientist. In fact, he's worked with NASA, he's worked at Stanford, he's worked with NATO. And it so happens that in his spare time, he's developed meditation techniques that are actually modeled on the techniques that were developed by the CIA in the Gateway program in the 1970s. And what Dr. Lani suggests is that he is able to get himself into a deep meditative state where you can actually measure with hyperspectral cameras, that is, cameras that can see in different bands of electromagnetic radiation that our human eye can't always see, and you can see what's called the pineal gland in his brain lighting
The what gland?
as he meditates. And it's at those points that he says he's having encounters with non-human intelligences. And he's got a long history in his life, as has his family, of alleged encounters with non-human intelligences. Look, I don't know what to make of it. I was
going to ask, what in the world did you think, Ross? I mean, you're having this conversation with him, and then you logged off of that Zoom, I imagine. And what your thoughts were what?
Look, there's an increasing suggestion, Marky, that there is a link between what we call UFOs, UAPs, and this whole issue of consciousness, telepathy, psychic phenomena. You might remember a few weeks ago we interviewed Uri Geller, the alleged psychic, on Reality Check, and he suggested that contrary to what we've all been told, these skills, these psionic abilities are real. And Dr. Lani is no idiot. He's a very, very well-respected scientist, some seniority in the world of all things, designing heat shields for space vehicles with NATO and other agencies in the EU. So this is not some lightweight scientist. And the good thing about it is that he's doing solid scientific work trying to measure the phenomenon that he says he's experiencing. And he's doing that.
I'd love to have him on the show and see what I think for myself. Lastly, let me just switch gears real quick, Ross, because to a UAP that was shot down back in, February of 2023 over Canada's Yukon territory. I've been looking at it since yesterday afternoon. It kind of looks like a horseshoe. It's now being made public. What do you make of this, and what are experts saying?
I'm calling it the giant Pac-Man, Marky. It's an intriguing photograph. But I think we should withhold judgment for the moment, because I think it's possible that what we're looking at is something that is underneath a big white balloon, and we're looking up from below from a jet cockpit. And that would explain why we've got that horseshoe shape, because whatever it was that was in the payload, which the pilot allegedly described to NORAD as a sort of an airborne metallic floating object. They didn't mention a balloon, by the way. Whatever it was underneath something. So I think we should be very careful. I don't think we can assume that this particular object over the Yukon was a UAP. The real issue, frankly, Marky, is why on earth did NORAD, why did the Defense Department keep this secret for a year, over a year? It's ridiculous.
They shot it down.
Why not be more...
Yeah, and to your point about being careful, I'm being told by my producers we don't even have permission to use the image right now. So people can find that online for themselves and do their own digging. Ross Coulthart, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for joining me so early.
No worries.
Thanks for watching.
All right, so they invited that guy on so he could talk about his penile gland, and then that woman couldn't stop interrupting him. Women. Anyways, let's see what we got next on the menu here. Next up, we have New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal charges because he's naughty. He turned on Old Man Walter, and Old Man Walter is going to let him have it because that's how it goes. I don't have much to say about that first story. I feel like they're mixing a whole bunch of stuff together, like UFOs and telepathy, and then whatever kind of cameras they're using to create those videos that they were just showing on the screen. And how much money does that make? They didn't say any money, so why are they doing this? Because if it don't make money, it don't make sense. Money makes the world go round. So I don't understand why they're even doing this. And why did they just talk about this one guy and his family like no one else on the planet has this ability? I don't know. It was like a lot of talking. It was kind of like watching a Hyena Harris rally. You know, there was like a lot of talking going on, but it was like, what's the point of this? And they're like, oh, it's all just speculation. I'm like, oh, okay. Glad you're in the news. Glad you're in the news. And like I said, the woman couldn't stop interrupting him. She's like, holy shit, a man speaking. Cut. Right. No. It's like, okay, she's a real piece of work. Anyways, we're going to read through the chat really quick and see what you hooligans think about telepathic aerospace scientists. I didn't think we'd be covering that today, but that's okay. We're going to read through the chat really quick, and next up we got Mayor Eric Adams being indicted on federal charges. Russell, I've seen UFOs. I think I've seen UFOs too. Me and WMM, we go out and about walking and whatnot. We've seen all kinds of stuff. Heck yeah, Salt Ragu. Gonna have to take him out to dinner. Breeze by you. She could have let the man finish speaking. I think she just didn't believe what he was saying, so she couldn't handle hers. Well, I don't know how to say this. Women don't have to use self-control because they're not held to the same standards that men are. And so, you know, you don't hear like toxic estrogen or any shit like that. It's only toxic masculinity. So I'm sure in her own safe space, she thinks it's okay to interrupt people and shit because there's no consequences, just like everything else we cover on here. What's up, Nefties? Happy freedom. Sultry, you sound like you're in a hard spot right now. You ain't got no tools, you ain't got no helper, you're stuck in the woods of Michigan. Like, you got to be careful of the dog man. Hard life, man. Zero fluoride calcifies it, the penile gland. Yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff going around right now saying that there's beings around, I don't remember what it is, around the spaceship or whatever that's in space. It belongs to America, the ISS or whatever it is. Supposedly there's plasma floating in space and it's communicating with the staff, and they communicate directly with your penile gland and all that stuff. I don't know. I just don't understand how that leads to money. And if it doesn't, it's really hard for me to put a whole lot of effort into it. It'd be something, I guess, to telepathically do things, but it also seems like uncharted territory. What if you were trying to do this and broke something? You couldn't get out of it. Or you started being attacked by beings that no one else believes in. So, I don't know. Like I said, I don't like flying because God didn't give me wings. I don't like going in the ocean because God didn't give me gills. And I don't want to be abducted. So I don't look for aliens. That's how it goes. You look hard enough, you'll find what you're looking for. So don't be looking for trouble. That's how I try to roll it. Don't be looking for trouble. Russell, I like my penis gland. Yeah, the Democrats, they don't like that too much. They don't like that. Josh D, it's fake. It seems fake. I don't know. A part of me feels like anything is possible, but at the same time, if it don't make money, then what are you doing? You're wealthy enough to sit in a dark room and think really hard and pray to God that you got telepathy? I wish I had money like that. It sounds like something unemployed friends do. Guess I want to find aliens, go to the border. That's right. We've seen more than our fair share of aliens on here, haven't we? Done. You're more likely to get gored by a bull if you mess with cows. Yeah, Done. Looking for trouble. Brian, that lady had penile envy. I think that's what it was. She was jealous of his telepathic abilities. That's what it was. She was all bent out of shape about it. Matthew, like the Brighter Minds scam. Look it up. I will definitely check that out. I've never heard of that. Did they drink the Kool-Aid? You know they drank the Kool-Aid. People sound like they're taking DMT. It does. It just sounds like they're hallucinating. And probably somewhere down the storyline is probably some sort of drug use or something. They're like, oh yeah, the whole family can experience this stuff. Like, sounds like RFK Jr. The whole family's got the throat problem and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Is it brainworms? Like, what is it? Like, what are we talking about here? So anyways, I knew it'd be entertaining, so I added it right to the schedule. What's up, Tony Rez? Happy Freedom. Oh, Kevin, yeah, you were telling me about that. There's definitely things in the woods. Zupia, I'm a psychic. I predict Jeff Mack will be going live for us, President Trump, tomorrow. I think you're right, Zupia. You gotta be quieter than that, though. The government finds out you can predict stuff. They'll be picking you up. You know that. You know that's how it goes. They're gonna be trying to test you out. Will old man Walter have diarrhea tomorrow? You're like, I don't want to play anymore. That's what the government's gonna do to you. You don't want those kind of problems. Matthew, it made my brain hurt. See? They were doing it through the video. That's what it was. Nobody's fault. Another spy baroon? Mm-hmm. Matthew, a brand new world. Mm-hmm. We'll just leave reality behind. We don't need it. Guess who? Why do people with English accents sound like they are experts in everything? He could read the label off a Monster Energy drink, and we'd go, yeah, sounds legit. Yeah, guess who? I don't know why it's like that. I have no idea. English accents just sound more charismatic and charming, and they just, I don't know, sell salt to a snail. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. What kind of witchcraft is that, you know? What's up, South Central? Happy Freedom. Lone Wolf, what kind of liquor would go in it? What is it? What is it? I can't remember what we were talking about. All liquor is good liquor. What's up, Ohio Cow? Happy Freedom. Lone Wolf, they just caught 3 illegals coming into Port Huron the other day. I believe it, Lone Wolf. I've been waiting for them to show up in this area. Yesterday, there was 4 teenagers that were arrested at the local school here for walking around with guns sticking out of their pants. They were arrested right on the school grounds. They were walking through the property. So hopefully they get double charges, because that's what happens when you're in a school zone. I doubt they'll do that, because Justice hasn't been here in a long time, and it doesn't even come back to visit. We'll see what happens. I can't disclose the location, because somebody will come here and ask me to shoot them in the face, and I don't want to have to accommodate them. But, yeah. Bad stuff's coming here, and I live in the middle of nowhere. And so if it's coming here, I'm not surprised to hear that it's over by Port Huron. Lone Wolf, Faygo's coming out with a new fall flavor, Jolly Green Apple. I'll have to try it, Lone Wolf. Thank you for letting me know. I can't believe that Faygo won't sponsor ICP. I can't believe that at all. If it wasn't for ICP, I don't even think Faygo would be here anymore. And every time ICP gets interviewed, they bring that up. Like, hey, is Faygo giving you guys a deal? They're like, no, Faygo doesn't want to do a deal with us. I think they should, though. I think Faygo should change their mind on that. Piano Man, to Americans, because English is our mother tongue, perhaps. I thought that we speak the way that Great Britain originally spoke. And after we ran away like bad little red-headed stepchildren, that they all changed the way that they talk. That's what I've always been told. I don't know. It's hard to believe that that's how it would be, but that's what I've always been told, that we actually speak the original dialect. They're the ones that changed because they got all butthurt that we left. But God only knows. Only the survivors get to tell the stories, and if they're anything like our government today, well, only the evil ones are the ones that survived. Next up, New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal charges. This is a follow-up of a follow-up of a follow-up, because we've been covering this for like longer than a year. Of course, there hasn't been indictment charges until just now, but he's had his phone, an iPad, he's had all of his electronics taken. His campaign fundraiser head person, who's a 20-something-year-old woman, who apparently was somehow connected to the Turkish something or other. I'm not going to say the Turkish government, but they do say something that she was connected to something in Turkey. And she was originally approached by FBI, had all of her devices taken a week or two later. They came after Eric Adams. Then it got really quiet, and then some different problems showed up, which I can't remember off the top of my head what that was. But all of this started after Eric Adams turned his back on Old Man Walter. So he was campaigning. I don't want to say campaigning. He was, how do I want to word this? He was just going out and raising awareness that New York was a sanctuary state, and they were doing all these great things for these illegals. And after a while of doing that, people started showing up with concerns saying, hey, we locals don't have what we need, and you keep showing up saying you're giving all this stuff to the border crossers. So then he started talking about how federal government was going to chip in and all this stuff, and there's reasons why this is happening. Turn around, Old Man Walter was like, no, we're not giving you any money. So then Mayor Eric Adams was like, okay, well, I can't tell everybody it was a lie. I'll just blame it on Old Man Walter, because that's what happened. Well, as soon as he did, all of a sudden, these accusations of Eric Adams colluding with the Turkish government just came out of nowhere. And so that's what happens when you turn on Old Man Walter, even though Old Man Walter's a piece of shit. So now that you're up to speed, let's go ahead and get through this. Once again, this is New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal charges.
And breaking news, New York City Mayor Eric Adams indicted on federal corruption charges stemming back to an investigation from 2021. Fox News' digital political reporter Brooke Singman with the latest. Brooke, good morning to you.
Good morning, Maria. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on federal charges. Details about those charges are still under seal, but they could be made public as soon as this morning. Mayor Adams says he is innocent and he will fight any charges against him. Listen.
I have been fighting injustice my entire life. That fight has continued as your mayor. Despite our pleas, when the federal government did nothing as its broken immigration policies overloaded our shelter system with no relief, I put the people of New York before party and politics. If I am charged, many may say I should resign because I cannot manage the city while fighting the case. Make no mistake, you elected me to lead this city, and lead it I will.
Adams is reportedly being charged with, quote, acting as an unregistered foreign agent for taking actions in his official capacity after receiving donations from foreign sources. It comes nearly a year into a federal corruption probe focusing largely on whether Adams conspired with the Turkish government to receive illegal campaign donations. So last November, the FBI raided the home of one of his top fundraisers. They also searched the property of another aide who is a former Turkish Airlines executive. A few days later, agents seized Adams' electronics, including his iPad and his cell phone. And in February, FBI agents raided the home of another former top aide. Now, just in July, Adams was subpoenaed by a grand jury as part of this corruption probe. And then earlier this month, agents searched the homes of 2 more of the mayor's closest aides. Since then, several key figures of his administration have resigned, and that includes the police commissioner and the city hall chief counsel. New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez called for Adams to resign hours before this indictment was reported. She said, quote, "I do not see how Mayor Adams can continue governing New York City. The flood of resignations and vacancies are threatening government function. Nonstop investigations will make it impossible to recruit and retain a qualified administration." Now, this indictment comes just months before Adams faces a competitive primary challenge in his bid for re-election. Maria?
All right, Brooke, thanks very much. Brooke Singman.
Well, we'll see what happens. He'll either get a deal or he won't. We'll see. He isn't doing anything that great anyways. He made all those promises that he was going to get federal funding for all the border crossers and that the locals in New York wouldn't have anything to worry about. And like I was saying before the video, that didn't happen. And so they had to figure out something because they had all these border crossers sitting on the sidewalk and locals in New York still needed resources. So they decided to cut budget for first responders, police officers, EMTs, all that kind of stuff, and give it to the border crossers. That's how they've been funding the border crossers, paying for the 5-star hotels that they were staying in, and as well as paying for the encampments that they're in right now, is because that money came from resources that were for the city, and they're barely making it from the way things are looking. I don't know. I think New York may be better without Eric Adams, but it's hard to say. There's always a bigger fish, and there's always evil people out there, so I don't know. I almost feel like it's a 50-50. Either they'll get someone that's better or they'll get someone that's worse, or Eric Adams won't go away at all. Only time will tell, but we will keep up to date with it. We're going to read through the chat really quick. Next up, we have how a looming port strike could impact the U.S. economy. Talking about how there is people about to go on strike at the ports, and that means if we have perishable goods there, they will expire at the port. And if that happens, then it's a loss and all of that stuff, costing more money. And they're saying because of that, if it does cost more money, that will cause prices to increase, therefore causing inflation. And so we may be going through another inflation boost, but I also wonder if this is done strategically. Because every time it's an election year, everything's falling to pieces. It's so we have leaders up there going, we're going to fix all your problems. So they make sure we have plenty of problems. So then we could be all worried about the election and stuff. So it makes me wonder if this is some sort of strategic thing, because this just kind of came out of nowhere, or at least in my vision. Anyways, we're going to read through the chat first, see what you hooligans think about Eric Adams and his federal indictments. And his plosives are crazy. He's like, I put the people of New York first. And I was like, holy buddy, you can blow that microphone away. I'm blowing harder than Hyena Harris. Just saying. Breeze by you, they wanted to be a sanctuary city. Did they not understand what that meant? Bunch of traitors. Yeah, Breeze by you, they're getting what they signed up for and they don't like it because, well, that's what Democrats do. That's exactly what they do. Guess Eric Adams has been connected to Carasso. I'm probably not saying that name correctly. Who's a mob lawyer for years. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you could tell that Eric Adams is corrupt. He seems like a person from Batman. He seems like a supervillain of sorts. What goes around comes around. I know that. Cadillacs, happy freedom to you. I love how these idiots like AOC act like they actually do a great job or a job in general. Yeah, Cadillacs, I don't even know why they put AOC's little tweets up there. I think that's, I don't know. There's a lot about that I don't understand either. We take tweets as like legitimate political statements. So-and-so tweeted this. That would have never happened in the 90s. You'd have to go out there and make a public statement. You'd have to do a presser. Now you just tweet shit off your phone and it's an official statement. That's how Old Man Walter dropped out. And it's like, the world we live in right now is so fake and stupid. It just makes no sense. Once people start getting punched in the face, I think all of this will go away. Anyways, yeah, AOC's a dumbass, and I don't know why they even put her nonsense up there. I keep debating on whether or not I should tweet out, I endorse President Trump. But it really feels like it doesn't matter. And then I look at everybody else that does it, and I'm like, it don't matter. Like, it don't matter. You posting tweets don't matter. We're so superficial these days. Russell, I'm not a fan of Adams, but this is an example of weaponized DOJ. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it was all good until he turned his back on old man Walter, and then all of a sudden they came for him, and it's wrong. It shouldn't be that way. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong at all times, not just when it's convenient for you. And that they're going to find inappropriate child content on his hard drive or his laptop. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And that's a guaranteed path to jail. What's up, Chrissy Star? Happy freedom to you. Salt Ragu, why does my life read like a joke, for fuck's sake? I've been feeling like that all day. Well, for a long time now. It's been like 8 days. 8 days. I wake up miserable and I'm just like, I don't care anymore. One day God will take me and that'll be fine. So I'm just looking forward to it. Bobby Adams' apple. I don't want to see his apple. I don't want to see it. Matthew AOC is a shapeshifter. She's a horse on the weekends. Stupid. She just gallops around the yard and shit. Throw a saddle on her. Call it a day. Let's see. What's up, SOS? Happy freedom to you. Pumpkin, they're up to no good, I'm sure. I agree. This stuff just came out of nowhere. And I wonder what other kind of dirt they got on him. I think that's what all these people do. It's just like the Epstein Island stuff. They all got dirt on each other, and they just leverage whoever they need to do the singing and dancing at that time. And they just dangle their blackmail in front of their face. Like, hey, I'm going to need you to do this. And they're like, no, I don't want to do that. And like, hey, remember that one thing I got over your head? They're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, okay, so I'll see you over the weekend, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And control each other and stuff. It's no good. Living in an evil world. Peoples, I heard that he's been to some Diddy parties. Oh, I guarantee it. If Diddy was asking Eric Adams to come party, I'm sure Eric Adams would be there. Kevin, bring back Rudy Giuliani. I wonder what it would be like. A lot of people turned their back on Rudy Giuliani after the stolen election stuff that happened. And Rudy Giuliani they go after his vanity so bad. And that's a tough one, because when you get old, you get old. You can't do anything about getting old. And so I don't know. I don't get real thrilled about making fun of old people and stuff, because you can't help being old. And Rudy Giuliani had like hair grease running down his face and all this stuff during pressings, and the media just attacked his vanity just so bad. And a lot of people turned their back on Rudy Giuliani, and now people don't even talk about him. It used to be an exciting thing. We used to cover his press briefings because he was a big enough name that just covering his stuff alone was causing people to come to the live. I bet today they wouldn't. I bet we couldn't get 50 people in the chat if I put Rudy Giuliani on, because they turned their back on him. A lot of people turn their back on Trump too, but I've been here for all of it while everyone else forgets. What's up, Schulers? Happy freedom. MU, you look and sound better. I do feel a little bit better, but the bad days won't stop. I wish they would, but at least I don't feel sick anymore, at least as sick. I think it's the stress that's killing me right now, but that's all right. Appreciate you being here, Cadillacs. You be safe out there. Pumpkin, you like Rudy? I like Rudy too. The Marquise. Diddy party known as a freak off. We're known to get their freak on. Yeah, DeMarquise. I'm sure Diddy's got dirt on Eric Adams. I'm sure. What's up, Irish? Happy freedom. Oh, what just happened here? Oh, man, you got a migraine? I'm sorry to hear that. I hate migraines. They're the worst. And it seems like everybody has different solutions to getting rid of migraines. What's up, Offbeat? Happy freedom. I tried to take care of myself, but I got to take care of everybody else first. What's up, Denoise? Happy freedom. Dirtbag freedom. A P. Diddy party. Ugh, it's scary. That's a scary thing. Lone Wolf, everyone on the southeast side is catching that crap. I don't know what I had. I know I was throwing up, and then it just kind of went away. Alright, Hooligans, we're going to get into this next one. This next one is how a looming strike could impact the U.S. economy, or a port strike rather. Like I had said just a little bit ago, there's people on the port that are getting ready to strike. I don't even know why they're striking, but they're getting ready to. And if they do, it's going to cause kind of an inflation effect because of perishable goods expiring while at the port. That's obviously an issue. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you guys really quick, if you would like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out as we're making Saturdays more fun. Let's get this port strike video up. As if old man Walter wasn't bad enough for our economy, now we got people going on strike at the port. I wonder if China has anything to do about this. They're not going to mention the Chinese spy cranes or whatever the hell we got at the ports. They're not going to talk about that, but we know they're there. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this rolling. Don't forget, hit that like button over on Rumble.
We want to focus on the 45,000 dock workers threatening to strike across America's ports next week. The strike could cause empty fruit aisles and prices to soar in grocery stores.
And if this goes on long enough, one analyst claims that the strike could potentially cost the U.S. economy over $5 billion.
Joining us now, produce importer Peter Kopke Sr. Peter, thank you so much for being here. Peter, you have dealt with how many of these types of strikes in your 60 years in business? Multiples. But what could consumers be in store for? Shortages and higher prices for the very kinds of fruits that you import?
Yes, well, I've been doing it for 66 years, and I've experienced, we had strikes in the late 50s and in the 60s, and in 1971. The last strike was in 77. And of course, as soon as you have a strike, you have the supplies of all of those articles in the ships are cut off, so you have a market without the commodities, and the prices rise sharply. Right now, there's millions of boxes of citrus fruit, as well as bananas and others that are going to be caught in the strike. And if the strike lasts for any length of time, the fruit will deteriorate. And those people, those businesses who employ thousands of employees will have to stop because they're going to lose millions of dollars. So it's a very, very serious thing especially for perishables. It's not good for anything, but for perishables, it is a very, very serious question because the fruit is not like wine. It deteriorates. It doesn't improve with age.
So Peter, with the fruit, go ahead, finish up. Go ahead.
All of the businesses associated with the import and export will be curtailed because the business won't be there. Now, this is something that is quite different since 50 or 60 years ago, because now the international commerce is a tremendous part of our economy. Yeah. And so everybody is affected when you have a strike. You have 45,000 workers affecting 350 million people. That's the effect of the strike. Yeah. So it's very, very serious. And if they go to strike for 30 or 40 days, most of the produce will be lost, people will be going out of business, and the economy will be seriously affected in an inflationary way. The government says they want to reduce the inflation, but they can hardly reduce it if they don't even engage the unions in order to not to prevent the strike, but to get them to negotiate. Yeah. They're not negotiating. And the vice president of the ILA says we have to strike because we're
coming up against a hard break. We are going to have to run. We're going to continue to follow this story. It's important to America. We appreciate you being with us, Peter Kopke Sr. Thank you.
So one thing that I think is really interesting about that video is the fact that they don't let him say why they're even striking. That's what he was saying at the end. He said they feel, some type of way, and they have to make a decision on whether or not to strike because of, and they cut him off. So they're not even telling you why they're going on strike. And that's one of those indicators that make me feel like, what a convenient time to do this. Right before we have to vote to pick our new leader, they're going to crank up the heat. And that's what happens every 4 years. Every 4 years it's like this. Like, they won't tell us why they're striking, and they didn't decide to do it till right before the election. It's going to affect prices of everything, causing more inflation. When Americans are, they say, like, the last I heard was 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. There's a big portion of Americans that are just homeless. They don't even have a paycheck. And so this is going to drive us farther into the ground. But they didn't bring it up until within 40 days of the election, or however long we got until it's time to vote. And so they always make us suffer. So we're more inclined to choose a new leader. Like, they want us to participate in the vote, even though it's, well, you know what happens. So I don't know. I think the story is really interesting, and I'm curious if we're going to get any type of follow-up. Either they'll bury it, and then it'll just become problems, and then all of a sudden they'll bring it back and go, oh yeah, by the way, this has been going on in the background. Or they'll keep us up to date with it because they'll want to scare us. They'll want us to worry about food prices and worry about things like that. And then President Trump will come out and he'll make promises, and Hyena Harris will copy President Trump's promises, and then we will all be eyes on the screen, waiting to see which leader is going to pull us out of the fire first. And I swear they do this every 4 years. I think this is done strategically. I don't know why right now it matters. It didn't matter the last 3 years, but right now it's time to go on strike, and they won't even tell us why. Next up, White House rolling out a plan to reduce gun violence. Now I know that sounds nice and totalitarian. They're going to be forcing schools to develop paperwork to improve active shooter drills. They're creating a new task force, which I wonder what that's going to look like. And then they also talk about switches. Switches is it's a label for a manufactured part that people are attaching to their firearms to turn them into machine guns. Now, they don't tell you what the part is called. They're called switches. I don't know why they don't tell you. They claim that you need to be real scared about it and in the know, and then they don't even tell you what it is. They just refer to it as a device or something like that. It's called a switch. And they're illegal. They're highly illegal. Don't ever tamper with your firearms in that kind of fashion. It's a no-go. Anyways, all that stuff's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat and see what your hooligans think about this port strike that's looming over us. Guess I'm a hellfire switch. I haven't heard it referred to as that, but yeah. Zero, ramp it up to a nuke bomb explodes? Nah, I don't think that. I don't think we're going to see that kind of stuff. Breeze by you, they're ramping up stuff to scare us with over the next few weeks for sure. Yeah, Breeze by you, and more stuff's going to happen. I can't remember if I said this on the live or not. I think I did. I'm worried about after the election. I'm worried about after we vote for President Trump, because we're all going to vote, and no matter how it goes, there's going to be mad people. If President Trump wins, there's going to be mad people. Hyena Harris wins, there's going to be mad people. But if President Trump wins, the day after the election, he'll have more pressure on him than ever before. Like, they're already shooting at him, and he hasn't even been declared the winner yet. He gets declared the winner, and we have to wait till Inauguration Day for him to get into power. That is going to be a scary time. That's going to be a scary time right there. If Hyena Harris wins, I don't know what's going to happen. I think things will become unpredictable. I also think that most conservatives and stuff, regardless of how the future plays out, have too much stuff to lose. And they would probably just sit home and be mad and bitch about it on the internet. But what I think will also happen is I think Democrats will behave like MAGA. They'll go out there and wear hats and shit and then burn down buildings and do all that and blame it on MAGA. They'll say that MAGA's out there acting like extremists because they're mad about Hyena Harris. I don't think MAGA's got the fire in them to go and burn down shit if they're really mad, but I know that BLMers and radical lefties will, and I know they're not against putting on MAGA hats while they do it. And so I think no matter what, there's going to be some chaos starting November 6th. what I think is going to happen. I think we're moving into dangerous times, and the fire is going to get fueled leading up to Inauguration Day, and we'll see what happens, because I remember when 2020 went the way that it did, and everybody was all mad, and all the Q people were all waiting for Inauguration Day because they thought something special was going to happen or whatever. And you know what happened? America got fucking quiet. That's all that happened. Everyone got really quiet. We stopped seeing MAGA rallies. We stopped seeing 2A rallies. We stopped seeing people just having Trump flag waves. That used to be a regular thing. People go out there and wave American flags and Trump flags, and after J6 happened, that all stopped. That all stopped. America grew silent. So, we'll see. Time will tell. I'm just sitting here monitoring everything. We will see. Snooks, I think they won't strike. I'd like to know what they're even striking over. What do they want? They want more money? They healthier meals? Like, what do they want? Do they need abortions? Like, what do they want? What are they going on strike for? Just, that doesn't make sense to me. Breeze by you, yeah, it'll be a scary time between voting President Trump in and the inauguration. I can't believe that there are enough stupid out there for Cunt Miller to win fairly anyways. Nah, Breeze by you, I don't think there is enough Harris supporters to beat President Trump in a fair election. I don't think so at all. I just don't. I think there's way more Trump supporters than anybody else. I think a big portion of Democrats aren't voting for Harris and them because they're all worried about Palestine or whatever, over in the Middle East. They're worried about that, so they're not voting for her. And so they only got kid fuckers voting for her, basically. And there ain't that many of them out there. And of course, they're going to tip the scale. And that's the whole problem, is they're going to tip the scale. I know there's idiots out there that are going to vote for Hyena Harris for their own stupid little reasons. And that's fine. That's their choice. They're Americans. They have the right to choose whoever they want to choose. They want to vote for their own demise. That's their choice. It is frustrating, but I don't think there's more of them than there is of MAGA. I'm just interested to see how the scales get tipped, because it worked in 2020. Why wouldn't they do it again? Why wouldn't they do it again? Zero. World leaders are already meeting with Trump, ignoring Camilla and Joe. They've turned to real leaders of this country. Yeah, Zero. And I don't remember ever hearing a time where there was world leaders going somewhere that wasn't the White House. Like, yeah, they come here and most of the time they're here to meet the president. I've never heard of people, like, announcements being made like, oh, the leader of this country is going to hang out with Rudy Giuliani or going to hang out with so-and-so over at their house. I've never heard of that. And maybe it's happened and I just don't know, because I haven't had as many years paying attention to politics. But it just seems really odd that we got leaders that come here and talk to President Trump. There's people that come here and talk to President Trump that don't even go to the White House. They're not even visiting the White House and then hanging out with President Trump on the way out. They're just going straight to Mar-a-Lago. And that's very interesting. Breeze by you, they'll have to cheat to win for sure. We need to show up and vote Trump so it's so obvious that he won. Yeah, Breeze by you, I agree. Got to make it too big to rig. Master Meatball, the International, what is he? Longshoremen's Association, the ILA, I'm probably not saying that correctly, but you know what I'm talking about. The largest union of maritime workers in North America has vocalized plans to go on strike at all of its Atlantic and Gulf Coast ports October 1st, which is Tuesday. And let's see. No worries, Master Meatball. You're a hooligan for sure. But that's very interesting. Thank you for letting me know, Master Meatball. Like I said, hopefully we can follow up with it, because they'll either slide it under the rug and we won't be able to hear about it anymore unless we got hooligans on site, and they'll bring it back when it's time to scare us again, or they'll rub it in our face, kind of like with the government shutdowns. Now, every time there's a possibility of government shutdown, they always rub it in our face like it's our fault that they can't spend money correctly. They're always like, oh yeah, well, you people who get welfare, you're going to be the first to go. People who are veterans and they get veteran benefits and all that, you'll be the first to go. The government shuts down, you people are fucked. And all that is, that's a huge sign of don't take money from the government. Do not accept help from the government. Now, we all need help, and you can't help needing help. I've been there a lot. But that's why socialism's bad. We ain't even there yet, and the government comes out every time they misspend money, and they're like, it's going to be on you. You'll be the one to suffer if we close down. And it's like, that's how you know socialism's bad right there. You don't even have to read a textbook. Let the government tell you. KJP herself comes out and says that stupid shit, you know? DeMarquise, we saw a video of Blue Team putting on Trump clothes. Yeah, DeMarquise. Yep. And that's not the only time it happened. We covered a video where there was an individual wearing a MAGA hat who went and I think he threw a Molotov cocktail into some building window or a door or something like that. I don't know. An individual attacked a building and they did it with like a Molotov cocktail, but they were wearing a MAGA hat. So the story was circulating for like a week or two talking about how MAGA is getting radicalized. But the whole time we covered it, we're like, you ain't never seen MAGA with Molotov cocktails. You know, you see making Molotov cocktails? Antifa. Dumb, methed out, 20-year-old Antifa. That's who builds those kind of weapons and stuff. It happened a lot during the 2020 protests. Antifa get picked up and have a backpack full of makeshift weapons. Those are supposed to be federal crimes, but you never hear about that kind of stuff because of the way that 2020 went down. League of Tournaments over pay increases. Interesting. I wonder what they make right now. It seems like all these strikes are over pay increases, but at the same time, a lot of these people are already making more money than anybody else. Well, as far as employees go. League of Tournament, have you seen what weapons they've been finding across the border? I'm afraid we're going to start seeing things you would only see in Central America or the Middle East. Yeah, League of Tournament, well, you know, that's what they say. Import the third world and you'll become it. And that's what's happening around here, unfortunately. What's up, Status Quo? Happy Freedom. What's up, Hollies? Happy Freedom. What's up, Craig? Appreciate you being here. These people are just begging to fuck around and find out. Wait until 10/7 when the newcomers haven't eaten in a few days. Yeah, Craig. Yup. Happy Freedom, D. Marquise. Cube. I got an error when I tried to vote, so I re-entered my driver's license, and it seemed okay. You got to vote already, Cube? I know some places are doing early voting. I don't know when Michigan's is. I know I just got paperwork for... Is this the paper? Yes. Absentee mail-in ballots or whatever. But I don't know if we actually get to vote early. I don't know. I'm not doing the nonsense. I just know that they sent it to me. I know Pennsylvania can vote early. I'm not sure who else can. Snooks. Okay. Oh, thank you for letting me know, Snooks. Well, apparently we're going to add President Trump to the schedule. Okay. So, President Trump holding a press conference at Trump Tower in New York. He is expected to be speaking around 4:30, which is about an hour from now. Let me see how much we got left on the schedule. Yeah, I think we'll be able to make it work. I'm going to do my best. So we should be covering President Trump near the end of this live. Like I just said, he is going to be holding a press conference in New York in front of Trump Tower. This was just scheduled because I actually looked at Right Side Broadcasting earlier because there was people asking about some Wisconsin rally going on, and I was curious and looking through things. So this is something that just happened right now. Thank you for letting me know, Snooks. Let me get the credentials added to the schedule, and we'll go ahead and move forward. I can't forget all this stuff. The day just got a little longer. That's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's always good to hear from the president, the real president. The other guy's just a shitbag walking around with his hyena. Mm-hmm. Okay, President Trump officially added to the schedule. We'll make time for you, bud. All right. Let me see where we are. Oh, yes. Old man Walter and his executive orders and nonsense about schools. All right. Well, we're going to read through the chat a little bit more, and we'll get on to that. Paul, screw their strike. SS recipients are getting ripped off way more. Cry me a river. Yeah, Paul. Well, everybody's hurting for money. That's the thing, is like inflation is so bad right now, and people are going on strike, and a lot of what's leading these strikes is figuring out what these companies make. When you work for a company and the company comes out and goes, yeah, we made $1 billion in profit, but you're making the same money you've been making for the last 10 years, people find that out while they're starving and looking at their starving kids because they can't afford anything because of inflation. And they're like, well, if you're making $1 billion in more profit, you can afford to pay us more. And so people are getting mad and they're declaring that kind of stuff. I also think if people were better educated, they wouldn't do this. I think if you were working at a job that doesn't pay you enough and begging your boss to give you more money, which is like never going to happen, you'd go out there and become competition for them. Or you'd go out there and you'd make a product that would make their product inferior. You would do something to one-up them instead of getting on your knees and groveling to these billionaires. But because of our education system, it seems like the easier route is to beg for help instead of going out there and getting it yourself. And you can. You can. It doesn't take anything to go out there and make money. Ask a drug dealer. You just gotta go out there and do it. But most people are scared to do it because they're scared of taxes and they're scared of regulation and they're scared of being too stupid to do it. But there's nothing to it but to do it. And it really sucks that we're in this position where people have to consider striking to feed their family instead of knowing that they are capable and smart enough to be able to do it themselves, make their own money. You don't have to go out there and have $1 billion business in order to be able to pay your own bills. But people don't know. They don't know because they don't have an education. Risk takers are the ones that rule the world. And just, I don't know. I feel bad for people. I got buddies that are close to me where I'm like, I will help you. I will help you start your own stuff. I'll help you with branding. I'll help you get your name out there. I'll help you. And the fear keeps them from doing it. They would rather work at a job that they fucking hate than let me help them. And it makes me feel bad. I'm not hardly making it, but I'd rather do this than fucking work at McDonald's, I'll tell you that. And I got buddies that got dreams and goals and things that they're really good at. And I'm like, you could make money doing this. And they're like, well, I don't know about the regulation and the paperwork, and I don't know how to pay taxes, and all these doubt. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. And part of that is failing. You got to fail. You ain't never going to grow if you don't fail. You got to be scared to go out there and look ugly, look stupid, be embarrassed, be wrong, be dead ass wrong. And that's how you grow. That's how you become better, is doing that. And the fear stops them. That's why the news does what they do. That's why the government does what they do. Fear rules a lot of people, and I wish it wasn't that way. Snooks, Trump on Saturday is in Wisconsin, but it's not a rally. He'll be speaking. Thank you for letting me know, Snooks. Yeah, I was reading the Right Side Broadcasting chat, and people were asking about what had happened with the Wisconsin rally. Zero, Michigan's voting. Make sure it's for the November election, not the August election. Steve Gruner on Newsmax got his, but it was for August, not for November. Oh, Gruber. The date is at the top. This don't even have a date. Yeah, there ain't even a date on this. This is just for whatever. Michigan absent voter ballot application. Yeah, it doesn't even tell you. Oh, actually it does. It says November. Election to receive ballot, November. Interesting. I would never even thought about looking at that. Weird. No, I'm walking in. I'm doing it in person. I'm not doing any of that goofy stuff. I just monitor what comes in the mail. Heck yeah, Hair Juicer. Glad to hear it. 5 more hours. You got this, buddy. Yeah, Zero. Thank you for letting me know. I would have never even looked at that. Normal times, Michigan voters have the right to cast a ballot early up to 60 days prior to the election day. Thank you for letting me know, Normal times. Now, Hair Juicer said something to me that I thought was interesting a few days ago, because I was in the middle of trying to pass on the message I heard from the rally where RFK Jr. came out with President Trump because he had just endorsed him. before RFK Jr. came out, it was either Marjorie Taylor Greene or no, it was either Carrie Lake or it was Charlie Kirk, and I can't remember which one said it, and they both might have actually said this, but they were saying, go vote on election day, but bring 10 people with you, and if you got people that don't vote in your life, let them vote early, because if you force them to only go on November 5th, if they already don't vote, they're gonna find a reason to not go. If you get them to vote today, vote, go do the thing. And that's what they were saying, and that made a lot of sense to me, because it's better to have all the votes we can have, even if it's not exactly on voting day, than it is to wait for voting day and then have half the people you spoke to not even show up because they're tired, they don't feel good, it's raining, they gotta work, but the dog's sick, and any other reason they can come up with to not vote. But while I was saying that and informing people on what I thought was a good idea, Hair Juicer kind of let me know, he was like, yeah, but if you can vote on election day, you should, because the more of us that vote early, the more the Democrats know how many they got to fake because of the early count. They can tell how many ballots are coming in early, and the Democrats, they'll just print up their own, they'll just do their own dirt. And so I think it is still a good idea to get everybody you can to vote when they can vote. But if you know your vote, no matter what, it could be raining hellfire outside, you're going to vote, vote on November 5th and surprise those bastards with how many votes there is coming in for President Trump. Because that little trickle leading up to November 5th will be nice, and they'll think they'll have an idea of how many ballots they got to fake and the tabulation machines and all that other bullshit, but then stomp them with a red tsunami on November 5th. And I think that it's kind of like a hold them at an arm's distance thing. You got people that are soft in your life and they're not voting, get them to vote. But if you know you're a diehard, you're voting, you're Trump all day, you keep that to yourself. When you're talking to other people, you're like, yeah, I'm voting too. And they're like, great, okay, I'm going to go today. And you're like, oh, okay, sounds good, I'll probably go tomorrow or something. Knowing that you're going to be voting on November 5th to conceal your vote, to help protect what's happening and stop them from cheating. But we still need as many votes as we can. So got it like a double strategy here. Shout out to Hair Juicer, because that's a smart idea. True American, don't trust mail-in ballots to be hand counted by a clerk. There's no way in hell I will go. Let me see. There's no way in hell, period. I will go vote paper in person, then run my paper ballot through the machine. Yeah, True American, that's exactly what I'm doing too. I've always done that. Go vote in person and put the paper in the machine myself. Although the machines are the damn problem, but, it's still better than the mail-in ballot crap. Ralph, we have people here going door to door trying to collect the ballots of the elderly to change the vote and then turn it in for them. North Carolina. Yeah, Ralph. There's a lot of people doing that. Same thing with the old folks home. People in the old folks home, they all deserve to vote too. They have the right to vote. And so what happens is these crooked nurses and people who run these elderly care facilities, they do the voting for them. They just go in and go, hey, who do you want to vote for? And they're like, oh, I want to vote Trump all day. And they're like, one for Harris, and then they go and cash it in. And so those places are really bad. If you got old people in your life that live in those kind of facilities, you should go help them vote before a nurse does, or whatever you want to call those medical professionals, if you can even call them professionals. The only ones who are still working are the TikTok nurses, because everybody who had to get vaccinated they had to leave. People want to know why everyone's so corrupt. The only cops that stayed were the bad ones. The only firefighters that stayed are the bad ones. The only bad people in government, or the only people in government, are the bad ones. Teachers, nurses, military. The only ones who are still there are the bad ones. Everybody who thought for themselves, they're not there right now, because they left because the vaccine mandates were wrong and unconstitutional. Paul, should be a national holiday. Everyone votes in person. I absolutely agree, Paul. We get days off for the dumbest shit, and then it's time to vote. And most people can't vote because they got to work the whole time that the voting booth is open. Pumpkin, I always vote in person on November 5th, even if I have to walk there. Yeah, Pumpkin, I generally do walk there. Strutting. I'm strutting down the street going to vote. Yep. Lee Guitar Bin. Here's the rub. How do you get more votes in 51 counties than voters, but yet they say only about 60% vote in the presidential election? I'm not a rocket surgeon, but the math don't math. Yeah, Lee Guitarman. And it was really bad here in Michigan where we had more votes than voters, and people thought that was suspicious. So the people who rigged the election, they held an audit on themselves. No wrongdoing was found. That's how it goes. Doesn't make any sense. What's up, Cheeky Chops? Happy freedom to you. Proud Patriot Girly. All my kids are voting this year. I'm a very proud mom. That's awesome. That is awesome. Status quo. Make sure to track your vote too. The only edge to make sure your vote is counted. I don't even know how to do that. How do you track your vote? That is definitely something we should be doing. Kimberly, yeah, the rocket surgeon. That's all right. I'm not a gynecologist. I just play one on TV. Snooks, you used to strut during your flag walks. Yeah, I'd like to go out there and do another flag walk. Yeah, Cadillacs, we have it on the schedule. Here, Juicer, during the Iowa caucus, we had like 40 inches of snow and still got a record turnout. Yep, and that's the way we got to do it. Too big to rig. All right, let's get on to this next video. This one is kind of interesting. It's a short video. They say a lot, but they don't provide all the details. It's titled, White House Rolling Out a Plan to Reduce Gun Violence. Now, it's kind of targeted at schools, I'm thinking. At least a big part of it is. So in this video, they mention they're going to require schools to develop new paperwork to improve their active shooter drills, because that matters more than arming teachers or getting away from gun-free zones. Like, these people are so fucking stupid. Instead of having gun-free zones, we need to make concealed carry zones. That's what we need. But anyways, they're going to force the schools to write new paperwork, because that's safer, I guess, than what I just said. They're also going to talk about how they're creating a new task force and then not say anything about that. So who knows what that's going to turn into. Then they're also going to talk about switches, but they don't call them switches. I explained that earlier. They're going to reference a device to turn a weapon into a machine gun or something along those lines. And what they're talking about is called switches. They're really big in Chicago right now, but I'm sure it's a nationwide issue. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. And don't forget, hit that like button over on Rumble.
House now rolling out a plan they say will help reduce gun violence.
I'll be back, but it'll be after the video ends, so don't go anywhere.
Now calling on federal departments to publish information that will help schools improve their active shooter drills. The president also creating an emerging firearms threats task force. Now the White House says that it's trying to stay a step ahead of certain guns.
President and Vice President have heard from local law enforcement about the need to address these machine gun conversion devices. That these are these small devices that are cheap, easy to make, and incredibly deadly.
The Department of Education is also launching a new website highlighting safety measures schools can take to keep students safe if gun violence happens on their campuses.
All right. Anyways, like I was saying, it's a lot in a short video there, only 45 seconds long, and they don't explain anything. Now, I don't know if Old Man Walter is going to come out and do an executive order or what he's going to do to make that happen. If he does, of course, we'll cover it, because maybe we might get more details, but it's hard to say. Either way, we're going to read through the chat really quick. Let me see what we got next up. Next up, we got JD Vance says he's looking forward to debating Tim Walz. the VP debate, I believe, is on the 1st. Ooh, hold on a second. Yes, the VP debate will be on the 1st. I don't know what time it'll be. Sometime in the late evening, I'm sure. It's going to be on Tuesday. We will be covering it live. I don't know if we're going to cover it on YouTube or not. We'll see. We'll see. Actually, I just reminded myself. I want to give a huge shout out to Sherry. Thank you so much for that PayPal donation. You're a badass. Thank you. All right. We're going to read through the chat really quick. And then next up, like I said, we got some info from JD Vance. I'm going to say JD Walls. JD Vance about the Tim Walz-Vance debate coming up on Tuesday. Guess check your ballot or ballot application. How do you do that, though? I know there's a way to do it, but I don't know how to do it. Russell, put vets in school armed to curb the gun violence. Yeah. I can't remember if I think it's Tennessee. Some state just made it so teachers can conceal carry. I want to say it is Tennessee. And they have to go through training, and I can't remember how much training, but they got to do some training. And then they have to get permission from the local police department to be able to conceal carry at the school. But I think it would just make more sense to make a gun-free zone into a conceal carry zone. And that way they wouldn't have to have all these special stipulations. You would just have to legally purchase a firearm, if necessary, get the requirements to conceal carry. Like in Michigan, you have to have a permit, but in other states they have constitution carry. So if you can legally purchase it, you can already legally conceal it. Then in places like hospitals or schools, legal gun owners will be able to be armed, have it concealed so they're not scaring students or putting a target on their back. And those places will be safer places. Instead of them being soft targets, they'll be the hardest targets. Because instead of saying, hey, there's no guns here, instead you're saying there's guns here, but you don't know who's holding them. And people will stop attacking those places. But no, let's force the school to devise new plans on paper of what they'll do for an active shooter, because that's better somehow. People are stupid. Breeze by you, the traitors investigated themselves and said, nope, we're not being treasonous. Carry on. Yeah, Breeze by you, that's exactly what happened. Zupia, it's been legal in Tennessee. A teacher at the Catholic school that was shot up by a trainee last year had permission, but for some reason had their gun in the car that day. Interesting, Zupia. Yeah, we actually covered when that law was passed. So either it just changed or they didn't have the ability until just recently, because we covered it. It's a very controversial thing that had just passed. Peyton, train the kids in forming defense line and have the teacher and advanced trained student create cover. Nah, Peyton, you can't trust kids. Some of the kids are elementary kids too. Do a Helix. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you auto-translating? I don't know what you mean. True American, I hope JD Vance brings up tampons. That would be hilarious. I hope JD Vance just smokes them. It's going to be so good. Tim Walz is just a clown. Pumpkin. So I wonder how many of these EOs we can sue Biden because they're unconstitutional. I can't remember how many he signed, but it's a lot. It's more than 100. It might be more than 200. It's a lot. It's a way bigger number than I thought it was. We covered a story that was talking about it probably like 6 months ago or something like that. And it's a huge number. What's up, Whistler's wife? Happy freedom. Pumpkin, I need coffee. Yeah, I need coffee too. I'm actually sitting here drinking Gatorade. And the kids up in northern Michigan are pretty good shots. Yeah, but you can't ask kids to engage in combat. You can't say, all right, kids, we got a school shooter. You know the drill. And they all start pulling AKs out of their desk and shit. Like, It's not that kind of America anymore. They've been fear-mongering Americans about their own guns for too long now. There's a certain portion of children that know how to proficiently use a firearm, those that grow up on farms or out in the country, but the majority of kids have never even seen a gun, especially a legal gun. They wouldn't know what to do, and those are the situations where kids get a hold of guns and they shoot themselves or shoot their friend or shoot their parent or whatever, accidentally or on purpose. And that's why kids shouldn't have access to firearms until they're adults. Lee Guitarman, it isn't your vote that you need to check. You should check if anyone else is registered using your address or credentials. How do you figure that out, Lee Guitarman? Because that definitely sounds like something that we should all be doing, especially with the way that 2020 went. They had people voting that had addresses where there is no house. Like you would track the address and it'd take you to like a desert. It'd just be somewhere on a freeway. There's just no house there. So if I could figure out how to check that stuff, I would. What's up, Salty Ginger? Happy freedom to you. The Marquis, you think Trump ballots will get counted? Last time they had postal service workers dumping them. Yeah, DeMarquis, and there's going to be more bad stuff this round because it was never solved. Oh, I just realized I never pulled up the Twitter chat. Sure, I didn't miss anything. Good to go. Matt, JD Vance should bring up the horse stuff. I agree. I think you should too, because what is Tim Walz going to say? He's nuh-uh, like old man Walter did. Nuh-uh. That wasn't me. That was some other guy. I had to get his stomach pumped. The horse drinker. Cody, it'd be a great thing if my kid came home from school telling me about how he learned how to trailer up when doing a room-to-room check. Yeah, doing building sweeps and stuff, Cody. You would think that'd be happening in America. Foreign countries think that's what we do. We eat breakfast with a pistol next to us and stuff. Sadly, we're not allowed to. The government doesn't let us. They don't let us do shit. Yeah, our kids should be learning a lot of our American values in school, but they don't. Instead, they get taught to be scared of all that stuff. It's no good. It's no good. So let's go ahead and get on to this next one. It's titled JD Vance says he's looking forward to debating Tim Walz. It's going to be so good. It's going to happen on Tuesday, and we will be covering it live. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you guys really quick. If you would like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click that big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and you're using the Rumble app, you're unable to see that big red subscribe button. So go to rumble.com, come to the live, hop in the chat, and like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops, and your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We have chapstick emojis, screaming goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live like we have in 30 minutes. So definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's get this JD Vance, Tim Walz video pulled up. JD Vance is going to just wipe the floor with Tim Walz. Let's go ahead and let me get on the screen here. Where am I at? Ka-chow. Anyways, let's get this rolling. Don't forget, hit that like button over on Rumble.
The way I see the debate is very simple. It's an opportunity where for 90 minutes, Governor Walz and I are going to debate the issues that matter to the American people. And what I'm going to try to show is very simple, that the candidacy, the team of substance, the team that actually has a record that we're proud of instead of we're running away from, and the team that actually has a plan is the team of Trump Vance. And that's what I'm going to try to do. Is look, I think one of the fundamental differences between Kamala Harris's campaign and Donald Trump's campaign is we speak to our fellow Americans like they're citizens, because they are. Kamala Harris speaks to her fellow Americans like they're children. And so what I'm just going to try to talk about here is explicitly what we're going to do to make your life better. And here are the ways in which the current administration has made your life worse. And we're going to try to connect it to public policy, because that's what I think the American people care about. So that's my plan. So we're studying up as much as we can on the issues that matter to the American people. And I'm looking forward to it because, again, as much as the moderators may very well be biased, we'll see about that. I know they were the first time. But it's an opportunity for me to get to tell the American people how I think we can make their lives better, and how Donald Trump's policies can make them more prosperous, can make the world more peaceful, and can secure that southern border. If we do those things, we're going to win, and I believe we will.
Yeah, I'm thinking JD Vance is going to be doing awesome on Tuesday. We will see. Next up, we have Oklahoma set to execute death row inmate Emmanuel Littlejohn on Thursday. That's an interesting story, because compared to what these border crossers do, this guy didn't do nothing. And he's getting the death penalty. Border crossers and the people who committed 9/11 that day, they don't get any kind of death penalty. They don't get none of that. So, I don't know. I'm really confused by this next video, but that's okay. We're going to read through the chat really quick and see what you hooligans think about JD Vance and how he's going to be toasting Tim Walz on Tuesday. Breeze by you, it will be so biased. They can't, they can't help themselves, the evil idiots. Yeah, Breeze by you. Yeah, it is going to be biased. I'm not delusional on that at all. It's obvious that, you know, they're going to tip it in favor of Tim Walz. It'll probably be like what President Trump had to go through, a 3-on-1 kind of deal. I don't know if they're going to mute the mics and stuff like that. They haven't been as forthcoming with that kind of information as when President Trump is debating and we know the rules like 2 weeks in advance. Tim Walz and them, they're going to be, you know, debating in 4 days or something like that. We don't even know what the rules exactly are. So we'll see. I know that if it was a fair debate, that JD Vance would be wiping the floor with Tim Walz. But with it being biased, I'm sure the media will say that JD Vance lost the debate. You know, they say that about President Trump too. They're like, oh, well, he lost. I don't know how you lose against somebody who didn't even bring their requirements. The whole point of the debate is to talk about your policy. Hein Harris don't have any policies. So how could President Trump lose? He couldn't. He couldn't. And I know not everybody agrees with that. I don't care. But that's how it goes. You know, like, I don't even know a better analogy. They brought a knife to a gunfight. And then people are like, oh, the one with the knife won. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. And I assume this upcoming VP debate will be the same. But I don't care how biased it is. I know it's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. We're going to make a drinking game. You don't have to drink alcohol because we got tons of sober hooligans. But we're going to make it a fun time regardless of how biased and full of nonsense it will be. Either way, reading through, and we'll get on to this next video. J Spray, happy freedom to you. You have alerted the horse. You think Tim Walz will show up with his horse boyfriend? He might ride a horse to the debate, and then the horse will ride him on the way home. You like that? You like that? Yes. Breeze by you, I think JD Vance will hold his own regardless. I think so too. I think he'll do fine. Russell, Vance is going to mop the floor with Walz. Yep. There should be horse juice everywhere. Paul, I'm voting for the Tangerine Menace. I love that. I love that. Dual Helix just randomly saying try some kombucha. Kombucha is very interesting. It's an acquired taste. You either like it or you don't. Zupia, the difference between Trump, Harris, and Vance Walz is JD isn't afraid to cut off moderators or Walz and make them stop lying. Yeah, Zupia. Yeah, like when he was going back and forth with that woman from CNN and she was trying to twist his words and make JD Vance look like he was saying that he made up the Haitians eating cats and dogs story. And he was like, no, She's like, yeah, you just said you make it up. You just made it out of thin air. And then he was like, you want to debate me or are you interviewing me? Like, just calling her right out. I love it. Paul, I'm mixed about executing people. Yeah, I feel that way too, because there's always a chance that you could execute somebody that was innocent, wrongfully charged or whatever. When it comes to cases of pedophiles and stuff like that, I don't feel that worried about those things. But this is not that kind of case. This next video is not related to pedophiles or anything like that. Pumpkin, Kamala wants all private businesses to allow the government to invest in their business willingly or be forced to do so. Yeah, Pumpkin, and that's totally government corruption. Normal times, I'm voting for Trump anyway. I am too. I am too. Yep. Like I said the other day, and it pissed everybody off, if President Trump was a Democrat, I'd still vote for him. He could be an independent. He could be a bee in a tree. It wouldn't matter to me. As long as he's making the promises he's making, that's what I'm voting for. I'm not voting for his hair or his orange skin or how tall he is or whether or not he's wobbly, bobbly, and smells bad like the Democrats say. None of that shit matters to me. He's making promises that I want to see come to fruition. I got to vote for that. And Hyena Harris isn't promising anything. Promising you'll be able to kill babies. I can't even have babies. So what is that going to do for me? It ain't going to do nothing for me. I'm not out here having abortions. So guess what? Voting for the Orange Eagle all day. Done. You ain't armed during breakfast? I am. It just ain't laying on the table like they depict it in the pictures for the foreigners. I'm armed right now. Always. Gotta be. You never know. You never know. Too old to carry the beer shits? Those are the worst. Those are the worst. Especially while you're hungover. Can't get the room to stop spinning. Gotta cry one out. Hate that. Hate when that happens. Cheers, Darth Blaze. Buck, the Haitian story was real. They eat parrots. They eat all kinds of stuff. They eat each other. That's like everybody's all worried about the port strike. Not me. I'll start looking Haitian if it gets real bad. Cat Daniels, he'll be in some trouble. Be in some trouble. Some of the stuff, I don't know what the hell you guys are saying. Salty Ginger, no. I haven't heard anything about that. I'll find it for tomorrow's live, though. And we'll add it in. Thank you for letting me know, Salty Ginger. DeMarquise dropping the horses in the chat. Don't do that. You're going to bring Tim Walls to the live. He ain't going to like the way we're talking about him. Logical Patriot. Yeah, I'm the same way. I may have more than one firearm on me just taking out the trash. I've told you guys before, when I leave the house and I'm like, I forgot to put it on me, I'll just leave it, it'll be fine. And then I get 2 steps out the door, I'm like, am I ready to die? Nope. Okay, better go back in there and grab it. Oh, I appreciate you, Salty Ginger. That would be awesome. Make sure you tag me in it when you post it. Russell, I'm stealing your thunder. I'm stealing your thunder right now. You see that, Hooligans? You guys are looking at my cock. Okay, stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Russell did it first. We're putting all that blame on Russell. You're being indicted, Russell. Conspiracy to get Hooligans to look at your cock. All right, next up, Oklahoma set to execute death row inmate Emmanuel Littlejohn on Thursday. I think this is a real interesting story. And I know things got interesting the last time we talked about the death penalty, so I have high hopes. Anyways, once again, this is Oklahoma set to execute death row inmate Emmanuel Littlejohn on Thursday. Don't forget, hit that like button, and let's get this rolling.
Happening this morning, Oklahoma set to carry out an execution.
Emmanuel Littlejohn is on death row for the 1992 murder of Kenneth Myers during a robbery at an OKC convenience store. KOCO's Andy Weber joins us live outside the Oklahoma State Penitentiary, and Andy, Littlejohn has long argued that he was not the shooter.
To this day,
look at that child.
John insists it was his accomplice who shot and killed Mears back in 1992. Meanwhile, the state argues there were witnesses that said Littlejohn was the only one holding a firearm that evening some 30 years ago.
He doesn't understand why he has to die because he wasn't the one.
Is that boy or girl?
In Mr. Mears' life.
While he still continues to claim his innocence, the facts resoundingly say to the contrary. And as the chief law officer, irrespective of how I might feel, I enforce the law. And the law in the state says Mr. Littlejohn must die.
We are still waiting a decision from Governor Stitt on whether or not he will spare Littlejohn's life. Just last month, the Pardon and Parole Board voted 3-2 to recommend clemency. The execution is set to begin at 10 a.m. Witnesses will start being brought into the chamber and the prison around 9 a.m. We have not heard anything more from the Mears family, but we do know that
you see the gas prices?
Advisor Reverend Jeff Hood will be with him inside the chamber today, and we'll have a full breakdown of this morning's events on our evening newscasts on KOCO 5. Reporting live in McAllister, I'm Andy Weber, KOCO 5 News.
Interesting. Armed robbery, shot and killed people, long time ago, 92. He's been sitting there on death row forever, and now they're going to execute him. There is so much worse crime going on right now. How did this guy get the death penalty? How do you even get the death penalty nowadays? Like I said, there was a terrible terrorist attack that happened here. It happened in New York. I don't know if you know that. There used to be 2 buildings there that aren't there anymore. Those guys didn't get the death penalty. This fucking asshole did, though. How does that happen? Like, how does that happen? Look at the border crossers. Border crossers not that long ago kidnapped 2 kids and raped one of them in front of the other one, and then I'm pretty sure killed both of them. They didn't get the death penalty. I mean, we had border crossers here kicking the shit out of police right out in the open, right in broad daylight in the street. They got free bond. They got bonded out for nothing. Just have a good day. Let you out of jail. This guy did some shit in 92. He's getting the death penalty. How? How does that work? I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. That seems unjust to me. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't know the guy, and I'm not defending what he did. I'm just saying it's pretty weird. It's pretty weird to compare crime of today versus crime of 92 and what gets you the death penalty and what doesn't. That just doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, we're going to read through the chat really quick and see what you hooligans think about that. Next up, we got a funny video, and I think what we'll end up doing is our funny video of the day. We might have to do both of them. And then we will be covering President Trump live. Let me see here. I'm going to get this live pulled up. It's probably not even live yet.
He does.
Oh, they are live.
But if you want to save the...
I don't know who that woman is. Anyways, this is what it looks like right now. President Trump obviously is not on the screen. He's expected to be on camera in like the next 18 minutes. And we will be covering it live regardless if we go through all the funny videos or not. But before we get through any of this stuff, any more things going on, we're going to read through the chat first. And I'll keep that pulled up just in case President Trump's a little early. You never know. You never know. Breeze by you, it is confusing how penalties are being applied. Yeah, Oklahoma must still serve the death penalty if they're putting someone to death, if they're executing them. I wonder when the last time someone received the death penalty in Oklahoma. I mean, I guess we could look it up. Brave is kind of lacking in the search lately, but either way. Let's see. Botched executions. Oklahoma has had issues with botched executions in the past. In 2021, the state scheduled execution for 25 prisoners in under 3 years, which have cut the state's death row population by 58%. However, the Attorney General's office and Department of Corrections believe that providing additional time between executions would ensure that the state doesn't have another botched execution. Don't even tell you what happened. Probably ended up being a vegetable. Holy. This is not good. It's not good. Recent cases, Michael Smith, scheduled to be executed April 4th, 2024, so he's gone now, for the 02 murders of Janet somebody and Sharath somebody. New claims from the state witness and attested DNA evidence have raised doubts about his guilt. Holy. Oklahoma sounds like a fucking shithole when it comes to executions. Holy. I don't know. I'm staying the hell away from Oklahoma. I know that. If you lived there, I'd be scared as shit if I was you. These people are handing out death sentences, giving people executions and not even killing them. Turn these people into vegetables. Holy shit. I'd be escaping Oklahoma right now. Somebody told me that Oklahoma had like the best gun laws in the country. I don't know if it's worth it. They're going to be like, look, you were white on a Wednesday. You're getting sentenced to death. Your execution will be in a week. And next thing you know, you just got your face in your lap and you didn't die. And no, thank you. I'm staying the fuck away from Oklahoma. They got a bunch of yahoos out there. That was the worst reading of Oklahoma I've ever heard of in my life. I wish I had more education of Oklahoma before reading that, because that's my largest impression of Oklahoma now. I think higher of Portland and California than I do of Oklahoma now. I can't even believe that. Holy, that just blew my marbles back. Anyways, we'll go ahead and put this on the screen so we can all wait for President Trump together. Anyways, we're going to read through the chat a little bit more. Jeez, that blew my marbles back. Yeah, breezed by you. Botched executions. That's a scary thought. Tom, in 92, you were actually punished for your crime still. Not let go with a slap on the wrist like today's DOJ. That's true, Tom. It's true. And we got to make that accountability great again. Look at the way everything's going, and it's because there's no consequence to anybody's actions. The horse gifts are killing me over on the website. Do a Hillix. Here we do killdozers. Oh, you guys, what is going on? Hold up. What is going on? What the fuck is happening? Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. What is happening? Hold on a second. You guys can hear me, but my system is telling me that there is no audio. That is very weird. It says there is no audio signal. What's up, Cassandra? Happy freedom. Very weird. Hopefully that changes. Yeah, weird. The software's not behaving correctly. Hopefully that doesn't screw up the live, but we'll see. I appreciate you guys giving me feedback. I just want to make sure everything's all good before President Trump comes out. There's always something. Every time President Trump's about to be live, there's always something. As long as we're good to go. What's up, Leah? Happy freedom. What's up, Catabikes? Happy freedom to you. Thank you, Status Quo. Thank you, Scott. So President Trump, like I said, is expected to be on camera in a little less than 15 minutes. 0, no audio on video. You're fine. Oh yeah, I have it muted on the screen, but there's a meter that I pay attention to see if I'm being too loud or not, and the meter's blank, and it shouldn't be, but that's okay. As long as you guys can hear me, that's all that matters. Schulers did hear 2 very short cutouts, like milliseconds. I think that happens when I change the scenes, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. What's up, you Hill? Paul, when the lights dim in Oklahoma. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's no good. It makes me think of the Green Mile where they fried that one guy because they didn't wet the sponge or whatever. So they just burned him out. Helix, Oklahoma is corrupt. All I've ever heard is they have good gun laws. I've never heard anything else about Oklahoma. I always forget about it until gun talk comes back. And then all of a sudden people are like, yeah, in Oklahoma the gun laws are straight. Now I'm hearing this and I'm like, I don't know. I'd avoid Oklahoma. What's up, 8Co? Happy freedom. Pumpkin, that's how much justice has changed. Yeah. We don't have any accountability now. Pumpkin, Biden's talking about gun control right now. I see Harris and Zelensky fingering each other. I didn't realize they were the same height. Isn't Zelensky like 4-foot communism? He probably reads his shit in centimeters, don't he? Because he ain't a fucking American. How many centimeters tall are you, buddy? What a bunch of goofy shit. I didn't realize Hannah Harris is short. I thought she was tall. I was wrong. That's okay. Look at that ball sack with teeth. I don't even got to hear what her stupid ass is saying. Look at the mirror on the left, though. I wonder if we... Oh, see, they're turning the camera. I think they can... You'd be able to see the TV with her whole speech on it. I can hear that ball sack growling right now. That's alright. We're waiting on the real president, not these two dumbasses. Breeze by you, dead man walking. Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch the Green Mile. It's been a long time. What are you guys talking about on Rumble? You guys think that JD Vance wears eyeliner? I've wondered that myself. Because I got like banging eyelashes. You guys remember when I showed you that TikTok filter on my face and I was looking extra bougie? I can't use those stupid filter things because my eyelashes, God gave me lovely, lush eyelashes, and I don't know why he did that to me. And so I've had lots of women come up and be like, I wish I had eyelashes like you. And I'm like, that's a nice story. Don't look like I have eyeliner, though. JD Vance does. And I'm trying to figure out, does his eyes just look like that? Or is he actually wearing eyeliner? It makes me wonder. I hope he ain't wearing eyeliner. Because I'm telling you, I roasted the shit out of DeSantis for wearing high heels for months. It was relentless. It was relentless. So JD Vance, don't be putting the makeup on, buddy. I don't want to have to do that to you. I like you, but I don't want to have to talk you up like a drag queen. Pumpkin, Zelensky needs to rejoin his war. Yeah, he needs to go somewhere. I think he's here to collect $8 billion hairs or something. I think I've seen someone say in the chat. Green Falcon, he probably has high heels on too. Could be. Could be. You never know. You know Zelensky does. He's got the red bottoms because he can afford them. Julian, don't get short with me, you Ukrainian Frodo. For real. Him and his drug problems. Pumpkin, just don't murder anyone in Oklahoma and you'll be okay. Well, we'll see. I'll have to look up what was earning people the death penalty. Astro Hammer, millennial men be wearing eyeliner? I don't wear eyeliner. I probably couldn't. I don't like touching my eyeballs and stuff. It freaks me out. Zero Internet is saying either 5'2" or 5'4" for Hannah Harris's height. How tall is Zelensky? I mean, 5'2" is, I feel like, kind of average for women. Maybe 5'4". Zelensky, on the other hand, though, how tall do they stack shit? You know? Trying to figure it out. Snooks, lovely, lush, long eyelashes. Yeah, I don't know. God gave them to me. They're not exactly cumbrellas, but, you know, they're banging. Prison Hug. Anyone can identify as a woman now. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. We may not recognize it, but they can claim whatever they want to claim. Full-blown zebras and whatnot. Status quo. Oh, my audio meter came back. Well, that's nice. Nice. Nothing. I didn't change anything. I just decided to start working again. That's okay. South Central, they're both hoes. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. They'll do anything for money. Spread their butt cheeks and all that. Guy, how much are we betting that Zelensky is the next Hitler? You never know. You never know. I want to know who's controlling Zelensky. I don't think he's in control of anything. I think it's old man Walter. Well, not Walter directly, but his administration of commies. Rights. It's all about red money. Yep. You are right. Snooks, umbrellas. Where do you get these words? That's what they are. That's what they are. Look up why there's fake eyelashes in the first place. That's literally what they were created for. When I tell you that women's beauty products is fucking nonsense, I really mean it. If I could liberate women from their beauty oppression, I would in a heartbeat. I enjoy going outside with my naked, ugly face, and I wish women could do the same, but they can't. They got to put 30 pounds of cancer-causing chemicals on their face, or else they'll think men won't like them because other women convince them of that. It makes no sense. It's severe brainwashing, and I wish I could help women. I wish I could. Snug, Zelensky's 5'6". Hold up, let me, because they look like they were twinning it. So Zelensky is 4 inches taller than Hyena Harris. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, well, Zelensky could have his high heels on. He could be standing on the dead body of a child right now. It's hard to say. You know, they're all monsters and whatnot. It's nice not being able to hear her whiny ass voice. I know that. Just looking at that mess is enough. I don't know who the sign language lady is. Anyways. Waiting on President Trump. Zero, remember she's wearing heels too. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Matt, foreign interference. Yeah. Somebody was saying that Zelensky was like campaigning for Harris or something. We ain't got to yell Russia, Russia this time. I mean, Ukraine don't roll right off the tongue, but it is what it is. Breeze Bayou, I go out with nothing on my face. Well, skin. Well, I'm glad you at least wear your skin, Breeze Bayou. That's good. That's the way to do it. That's what God intended. Muskie, I hate those people. Me too, Muskie. Me too. Damn commies. It's in our blood to hate those people. What's up, High Plains Drifter? Happy freedom to you. Prison Hug. I got to work overtime so he gets his money. I know. Bunch of nonsense. Rip Curl. Play what Harris is saying while we wait. Alright, hold on a second. I put President Trump over on the other screen so when he walks up, we'll just do the thing. Alright, Dusty Ballsack, what do you got to say here? Oh, actually, I think the live ended. Yeah, it's just a replay now. And they already turned the comments off. I'm trying to think, because there was something else that we just covered, and I'm trying to think what it was. President Trump, when he goes live on YouTube, he turns the comments off. I was going to tell you guys that yesterday, and I forgot. My audio disappeared. I don't know what's going on today. Today's trying to turn into a bad day. Anyways, I thought that was really interesting that President Trump, I mean, it's not him. It's not him running the channel, but whoever runs the channel, they turn his comments off on YouTube, and they should stop it. Zero. The internet can't agree on either of their heights. Yeah, they're probably getting all the information from Wikipedia. Thoughtbot. Snooks is hot. What's up, Rappy? Happy Freedom. G1, Camilla's 5'4". I don't know. I didn't realize that they were that close in height, though. President Trump, 2 minutes. Paul, signing bombs that will kill people. What an image. Yep. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to say, you know, they're against wars when they're out there doing stuff like that. Pumpkin, Biden sent a military plane to Ukraine to pick up Zelensky. I don't understand how this stuff's like not colluding. The Marquis, they're both 5'2". Parabellum, she looks taller today because she's not on her knees. That's what it is, Parabellum. I was thinking, you're right. You're right. I'm not used to seeing her stand that tall. What's up, Shanti? Happy freedom to you. Well, let's hear what this guy is talking about while we wait for President Trump.
We're still here for you at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, having correspondents all the way up in Michigan tomorrow. Saturday will be Wisconsin, and then Sunday, of course, in Pennsylvania, a great rally there. All right, so we know under Harris and Biden, we're looking at car insurance up 54%. The hotels are up, gas, transportation, electricity. Baby food is up, eating out, airfare, rent, groceries, all things are up, including crime. We know that the southern border is a huge sticking point, talking point, and huge policy agenda for President Trump to shut down the border and to let the Border Patrol agents do the job that they desire to do, to shut down the border, to be able to stop the illegal influx of the Biden invasion, as Kerry Lake one time called it at that Glendale speech in Arizona, the Biden invasion happening. So speaking of that, if you saw recently on The View, Biden was there just receiving praise from a number of the hosts on The View. This is just a whole thing of just a smokescreen of a false narrative that the left is trying to build up for not only Biden, but for Harris. Being on Oprah the other day. You know, Oprah wrote that beautiful letter to President Trump in that book, Letters to Trump. Well, prostitute. Now she obviously changed her tune, but at the end of the day, it's unfortunate because Oprah is and was a talented host and has some great things to say about inspiration and that kind of thing. But outside of that, the politics are crap. They're junk. They're terrible. How can you sit there and talk to someone that is going to radically want to change our nation and take away constitutional rights and tax people even more and more? How about all of the radical agenda of letting people come into our country and take care of them? Well, yes, human to human, you want to help people out, but at the end of the day, if you're coming here illegally, and especially if you're committing crimes, you have no border, you have no country. So it's really unfortunate to see the left just continue to paint this picture. And people, which a lot of people are not falling for it, which is always good to see that. There are people that are, and that's the way it's been for so many decades. So having conservative media options like Right Side Broadcasting Network and others out there, it's great because we can hear truth. We can hear what things that resonate with the American people.
Well, we'll see. Just sitting here waiting on President Trump. He should be on camera any minute now. Tom, so is the fact that there isn't a single pro-Trump ad on YouTube, it's all pro-Dems, it's election interference in my opinion, lying and only promoting one side, doesn't promote informed decisions. Tom, I feel the same way because it's like that on Spotify too. When I'm in the car, I listen to Spotify and every 3 songs or whatever it is, it's a Kamala Harris ad. It's never a Trump ad. The only place I've heard Trump ads is I think they have them on Rumble, and I want to say I've heard them somewhere else, because I don't see ads on the computer because I got Brave browser, so I don't see any ads. But when I'm out in the car, all I hear is Hyena Harris ads, and I don't know how that's not election interference. And I mean, I guess they could say, you know, maybe one campaign is putting more money into PR than the other campaign, but it just seems that it should have to be fair or not at all. And I said this back in 2020, that like YouTube, right? YouTube's going to promote Hyena Harris more than President Trump, including talking all over his rallies, not even showing his rallies, not showing his ads. And I told people back then, you know, people didn't want to hear it back when I was being censored. Now they don't even touch me because we're not even getting paid by the platform anymore. But YouTube plays a big part in election interference, just like Google does, where they were lying about the ads being approved by Hyena Harris, trying to make optics look like these companies are siding with Harris when they really weren't, and doing all kinds of other corrupt stuff just with the Google search engine and all of that. It's absolutely election interference. It's just, is anyone going to call it out? You know, is anyone who has the power to do anything going to say anything? Because they haven't yet. Pumpkin, you've seen Trump ads on YouTube? I haven't seen any. Well, I haven't heard of any. I don't see any ads at all, but I haven't heard of any. Pumpkin, deportations will create jobs? I believe so. Thank you, Rappy. Breeze by you, everything's so biased. Yeah, it's because it's the government's media. That's why. The government controls the media, just like in a communist country. Paul, I do see Trump ads on YouTube. Well, that's good. It should be equal. DeMarquis, YouTube is owned by Google. Yep, and Google and YouTube are owned by XIXXI or something like that, because that's who gives you your tax paperwork, your W-9. When you get paid by YouTube, you get a W-9 from some company. It's called like XIXXI, and that's the owner of Google and all of them. But you don't hear about that, which I think is really weird when people are talking about YouTube censorship, Google censorship. They don't even talk about the mother corporation. They'll say, what do they say, the Alphabet company or whatever? The company I'm talking about owns the Alphabet company. Like, there's so many mother corporations and people don't even talk about it. They know about it, but they don't talk about it. They try to put everything in terms that normies can understand, but I don't know. What good does it do? Leah, Zelensky only has one shirt? Yeah, that's what it seems like. He must spend the rest of his doll hairs on coke. Breeze by you. Weird. I wonder why you're seeing ads if you got Brave browser. Because I don't see ads. That's weird. I wonder what's causing that. What's up, Captain Seamus? Happy freedom. Paul, Trump ads are hilarious. There was a Trump ad that I saw, and I don't even know. I don't know if it was official or not, but it was Hyena Harris saying something, pretty much sticking her foot in her mouth. And then at the very end of her talking, it showed President Trump, and he's like, I approve of this message. And I was like, yo. And I was going to make that the funny video of the day, and I can't find it now. I've looked everywhere for it for 2 days, and I just can't find it. Rappy, I've only seen Trump ads on YouTube. Well, that's good that you're seeing them at all. What's up, Bill? Happy freedom. Worcester's wife, 3 illegal Mexicans were arrested trying to enter where I live in Port Huron, caught on a raft in St. Clair River that separates us from Canada. Yeah, Worcester's wife. Somebody was talking about that earlier. It's crazy sauce. It's going to continue to get worse. I know that. Paul, Camilla makes the best Trump ads. I agree. I agree. What's up, Alistair? Happy freedom. Green Falcon, I'm starting to see ads on Brave lately. I wonder why. Because I don't ever see ads. I wonder if I do see ads and I just don't acknowledge it. And I just think I don't see the ads. But I also only go to a couple websites. I don't just sit here and breeze through the websites. I'm usually researching things, working on the website, learning something. I'm learning all the time. I'll stop learning when I have enough money to live. Flying X, they have Trump ads on YouTube, but you can hit skip. But on Hyena Harris ads, they make you wait until it's over. Well, a lot of that is a choice. I've ran ads on YouTube, and you can choose for that stuff, but I don't know. I'm really surprised that President Trump ads are being shown on YouTube. I mean, it's a little less election interference. Rappy, it's going to be interesting when Hyena Harris goes to the border tomorrow. I'm interested to see how that goes, if she actually makes it to the border or not, what she's going to say while she's there, how much they're going to clean it up before she gets there, who's going to be there to kiss her ass and do all that stuff, because the Border Patrol people are backing President Trump. They're not backing Hyena Harris. So I'm interested to see who even greets her while they're there. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll add it into the schedule tomorrow. It depends on what time they're going to do it. And I mean, I hate hearing her whiny ass voice, but we'll see how it goes. Paul, will she cry like AOC? Time will tell. I'd love to see a rage quit out of Hyena Harris. She just storms off stage. Breeze by you, it'll be all cleaned up, and they'll act like nothing's really going on, and that she fixed it or some other lie. Yeah. Well, they're already saying for the last week or two, they're like, oh, the border crossing numbers are low, da-da-da-da-da. But that's because they're being flown in. They don't have to walk across the border. They just need to sign up on their little border crosser app, and Hyena Harris sends a plane. And so, yeah, I assume they will. They'll go to the border and act like everything's all better. Jay Spray, she's going to meet up with the cartel. She might be greeted by the cartel and have dinner over a child. They might. I imagine President Trump will be on camera any minute now. They've been moving the camera and touching the mic and all kinds of stuff. Lee Guitarman, they're only counting the ones not crossing at port of entry. Well, everything's all being moved around. That's like them using different labels. Some are asylum seekers, some are gotaways, some are this, some are that, but they're all border crossers. Why did they just cut President Trump off? Get out the screen, buddy. There we go. All right, let's get it. Share out the link so everyone can hear from the president.
Here, we can hear me. Thank you very much, everybody. For nearly 4 years, we have been living through the worst border crisis in the history of the world. There's never been anything like it, which has brought untold suffering, misery, and death upon our land. The architect of this destruction is Kamala Harris. When you look at the 4 years that have taken place after being named border czar, Kamala Harris will be visiting the southern border that she has completely destroyed, from what I understand, tomorrow. Why would she go to the border now, playing right into the hand of her opponent? I mean, you take a look at this, why would you do that? There can be no justification for what she's done. There's nobody saying, oh, gee, she's done a fabulous job. She's done the worst job probably in the history of any border, not just our border. She keeps talking about how she supposedly wants to fix the border. We would merely ask, why didn't she do it 4 years ago? It's a very simple question. I can say this with everything she has. She talks about borders and taxes and all these different things. Her policies on tax, by the way, are terrible, but I can say it for everything. Why didn't she fix it almost 4 years ago? She's got no plans, got no talent, got no ability to do it. I'm here today to present you with the facts and only the facts about how Comrade Kamala Harris willfully threw open our border, helping to virtually destroy our country. Our country's never been under siege like this. 4 years ago, Kamala inherited the most secure border in U.S. history, with the lowest illegal immigration on record. You know the chart. I love that chart. I love that chart. I probably wouldn't be here right now except for that chart. Those who violated our borders were captured, detained, and quickly sent back home under the Trump administration. But on her first day in office, Kamala Harris terminated every single Trump policy that sealed and secured the border. She ordered an immediate stop to the completion of the border wall. It was almost complete. We built hundreds and hundreds of miles of wall, and it worked. I always said walls and wheels. Everything else is obsolete, but walls and wheels, and this wall worked. And we were ready to build and throw up another 200. Could have been done within weeks. Everything was complete. The wall was all built, ready to go, laying there, ready to be fixed. All they had to do is throw it up, and you would have had an extra 200 miles of wall, far more than I promised in the election. She suspended all deportations. She instituted catch and release across the entire southern border. And we had catch and release also, but we released in Mexico. Her catch and release was to release in the United States and never see them again. She sent Congress a bill demanding amnesty for all illegal aliens, every single illegal alien, even if they're criminals, even if they're murderers, even if they're drug dealers, human traffickers. She wanted amnesty for everybody. Radical left. This is a radical left person. She terminated Remain in Mexico, something that took me and a lot of talent, a lot of other people, but it took a lot of talent to get from the president of Mexico, a good man. But we got it. You had to remain in Mexico. You couldn't come in under any circumstance. You weren't allowed into the United States until we checked it out, and many people did not come in and were not allowed to come in because they didn't check out. They were drug dealers, they were gang members, they were in jail for murder in a couple of cases. We wouldn't let them in. And she canceled every Safe Third agreement. Anybody here, I think, would know what that is, but that was a horrible thing that she did. And she canceled Remain in Mexico. Here we have something, Remain in Mexico. You don't have to explain it. She canceled. She ordered ICE to halt the removal of virtually all criminal aliens, including MS-13 gang members, the worst gang anywhere in the world, they say. Evil, evil gang. She ended all of our programs that we instituted to stop child and woman trafficking. The trafficking is at a level now that it's never been before. I had it down to the lowest level it's been in 32 years because we had such a strong border. They couldn't get through. But now it's the worst it's been in 32 years plus. And then she lost, and this is probably the worst statistic of them all, 325,000 children. Think of that. 3.5 years. She lost 325,000 children. And they're either dead, being sold into sex slavery, or just plain missing. Think of the number, 325,000. If that were a Republican instead of her, and she was the border czar, she says, well, I wasn't the border czar, she was. And tomorrow she'll make a case that, oh, she did a fairly good job. You can't say much. You can't justify it. She should save her airfare. She should go back to the White House and tell the president to close the border. He can do it with the signing of just a signature on a piece of paper to the Border Patrol. Instead, she's going there to try and convince people that she wasn't as bad as everybody knows she was. She was the worst in history. Grossly incompetent, weak, and ineffective. And all you have to do is ask Brandon Judd, Border Patrol. You could ask any of them. Tom Homan. We had the best people that we've ever had, and they said Trump was the best president on the border ever. She ripped up every single reform that we put in place to stop asylum fraud. She ended a travel ban that was unbelievably successful. We had the strongest travel ban anywhere in the world, and it was upheld by the United States Supreme Court. She canceled Title 42. That was a medical title. She canceled it, very hard to get. And altogether, she took 93 executive orders that I put on, all which made the border the best border we've ever had in recorded history. And she terminated them along with Joe Biden. The worst administration in the history of our country. And on the border, it's not even close. Because of these acts, in less than 4 years, 21 million illegal aliens at least. That's the real number. You don't hear that. You hear 15, 16. Sometimes you hear 17. The number is at least 21 million. And on top of that, you have gotaways. That's gotaways. That's people that came over or got away. And they've stormed across our border like nobody in history on any border anywhere in the world. There's never been any border in history where you had millions of people storming us like that. No third world country would allow it. But she allowed it because she's incompetent. She allowed it because she never went there. She says she went once, but it was not the right location. It was a location that was very mild and no danger. She never went there. She's going there tomorrow after almost 4 years. She's going there tomorrow to try and show you what a great job she did. But even now, the numbers are terrible. And remember, they're flying people over, and they haven't stopped that. They're flying hundreds of thousands of people over the border right now. They never stopped that. They didn't think they'd be caught, but they were 2 weeks ago. From prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylum, all these insane asylums where you have the sickest people, mentally ill people, and terrorists at record levels. We've never had terrorists come into our country like this. They come, and they keep coming and coming, and nobody has ever seen anything like it. People that go to the border, they look professionals, and they said there's never been anything like this in the history of the world, and they are destroying the fabric of our country. She did nothing to stop any of it. In fact, she encouraged them to keep coming, and you know that. For years she did. Only recently did she say, oh, well, we're going to try and put a stop to it. And I ask again, this should be the why didn't she do it speech. Why didn't she do it? All of these things, including unrelated elements to what we're talking about now, like taxes, like military, like so many other things. Why didn't she do it? She's got plans for the future. Why didn't she do it? She's been there almost 4 years. Kamala created a brand new program to fly in migrants from Venezuela, Haiti, and Nicaragua, and resettle them in American communities, including small towns all across our nation, but in particular in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. Nobody can believe it. These towns have been destroyed, and the mayors of the towns and the governors of the states can't talk about it because they're embarrassed that they allowed it to happen. In addition, through her phone app, something totally new now, it's a phone app for migrants, where migrants call in, highly sophisticated migrants. She's allowed virtually unlimited numbers of illegals to press a button, schedule their illegal immigration appointment at our ports of entry, and show up to be released into the interior of our country. Can anybody believe this? And they're invading our towns. It's an invasion of our country like no country has ever had to suffer before. And this was purposeful. They did this on purpose. This was not a mistake on their part. They did this on purpose because their policies are so wrong and so evil and so unfair. And there's only 3 reasons they want to do that. Number one, they're incompetent. And I'm not sure that that's the reason. Number 2, they want it for the votes. Number 3, you know what that one is. We don't have to talk about that one. But there can only be a very few reasons, because they're destroying our country at a level that's never been seen before. Importantly, as part of this con job, it's a con job. None of the illegal aliens she is smuggling in through the ports or on the airplanes. Think of it. Big jet planes loaded up with migrants flying into the middle of our country and going to Iowa and lots of other states. They've all become border states. We only have border states now. But they're counted in the Border Patrol statistics. And when you do that, you can add a lot of numbers because they're not taking those counts. They want to have those counts not included in the numbers. In Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio, where it's been a mass invasion, these were 2 beautiful, successful towns, idyllic. And they're in trouble, big trouble. And very unfair. The people want to leave. They want to get out. But everyone's afraid to say, I want to get out, because they want to be politically correct. And other towns just like them, hundreds of them all over America. Americans have watched their communities destroyed by this sudden, suffocating inundation of illegal aliens. It's an inundation. It's an invasion. This influx has overwhelmed our schools. They're taking the seats of students that can no longer go there, and they don't even speak English. They're trying to fire a lot of people and hire interpreters. Can you believe that? They want to get rid of some people. They want to hire. Springfield is looking, the mayor said it the other day, looking for interpreters because nobody in all of the 32,000 people that took into the town, think of this, you have a town of 50,000 people, and almost instantly you have 32,000 people, in this case from Haiti. Most of them don't speak English, so they're looking for interpreters. You have to get them out. We have to save our country. You have to save these towns. They flooded the job market with low-wage migrants, but many cases migrants that also have horrible criminal records, murder, drug dealing, so many different things, a lot of human traffickers, and it's mostly human traffickers in women. Last month, American-born workers lost 1.3 million jobs. This is last month. You know, when they lowered the interest rates, they weren't doing it necessarily just for political. Our economy is terrible, especially when you add inflation into it. Inflation has destroyed our middle class. It's destroyed our senior citizens. And all of these people coming in are horrible for the black population and the Hispanic population They're taking the jobs of the black population at levels that they've never seen before. Hispanic also, they're suffering, and the families are suffering. They go out, they think they have a job, and they've lost a job to an illegal migrant. So we've lost 1.3 million jobs last month. Think of that. And now we've gained, out of that number, 635,000 jobs. But every single one of them was an illegal migrant. They've also, as you know, and you've heard me talk about it, just happened very recently, we found out, 818,000 jobs were fraud. They fraudulently claimed that the economy picked up 818,000 more jobs than they stated. And a whistleblower or leaker let it be known that that was false, that the 818,000 jobs was a false fraud. It was a fraud. It should be investigated, by the way. But Biden knew about it, and Kamala knew about it, and they were going to release the real figures right after the election. But by putting 818,000 phony, fake, disgusting jobs that don't exist, by putting them on the rolls, it made them look much better a short while ago, but they didn't quite make it to past election day. So to that whistleblower or leaker, I want to, on behalf of the American public, thank you very much. These people are a fraud. Just like nobody talks about it, but Kamala never had a job at McDonald's. Her resume talks about McDonald's, McDonald's, McDonald's. When I worked at the French fry counter, it was so tough, so hot. She didn't work there. She never worked at McDonald's. It was a lie. Most heartbreaking of all is Kamala's migrant invasion has brought massive crime into our country at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We've never seen levels like this. And during the debate, I mentioned that, and David Muir, a real lightweight, whose ratings have gone way down, by the way, because he lost credibility. I had 1 against 3, but I think we did great. But David Muir of ABC, fake news, when I said that crime is way up in our country, he corrected me. He corrected me on so much, and it was right what I said. He didn't correct her one time, and what she said was wrong. Absolutely wrong. So many different, Charlottesville, she was wrong. All of the different things, almost everything she said, and she was never corrected. But he corrected me in crime. He said, no, crime has not gone up. I said, crime has gone up massively. He said, I'd like to state for the record that crime has not gone up. Now, you don't know this, but we had a deal with ABC that there will be no corrections of any kind, and they violated the deal. Why? Because they're bad people and they're fake news. So he did it many times to me during the debate. He violated the deal. That's the deal. Because you can take anything and try and make up stories with it. We had a deal where that wouldn't happen. You could do whatever you wanted as soon as the debate was over. But he did it in total violation of what our agreement was. And a lot of people standing right over there will tell you exactly what it was. We'll show you what it was. David Muir has lost all credibility. The other person, I never heard of her. I never want to hear of her. She was terrible. I don't know how she ever got her job in the first place. But we have a country to save, and we can't have fake news like that. And his ratings deserve to go down. Here in New York City, an estimated 75% of arrests in Midtown Manhattan and over 60% of arrests in Queens are now illegal aliens. They've given you the fake stories that the illegals coming into the country are much better than our people. They don't commit crimes. These are some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. And they don't just come from South America. They come from all over the world. The Congo in Africa, a lot of them coming from the Congo. The Middle East, Asia. They do come from South America, but not all. They're coming from all over the world, and they're emptying out their jails, and they're emptying out their mental institutions. The money they're saving is beyond belief, and what they're doing to our country. And if I were the president of one of those countries, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd say, let's empty out our jails into the United States. We're dumping ground for the rest of the world, and it's going to stop starting on January 20th. But the most important day in the history of our country is going to be November 5th, Election Day. 3 months ago in Queens, an illegal alien released into our country by Border Czar Harris approached two 13-year-old children with a machete in broad daylight, forced them into the woods, tied them together by the wrists, and raped the young girl, hurt the girls very, very badly. They caught him because he put it on tape, he put it on film. They caught him. He thought it would be nice to have it on tape to show his friends. In June, 2 NYPD officers were shot at point-blank range by an illegal migrant from Venezuela. By the way, the crime rate in Venezuela is down to the lowest level it's ever been that they know of, because they've taken their street gangs, they've taken their criminals off the streets, they've taken their drug dealers, and they've emptied their jails almost. They'll be emptied very soon, within the next 2 months. I guess they can't get enough buses. But they're bringing people at record levels to our country. These are criminals, and their crime rate is the lowest it's been ever that anybody can remember. It's become, Caracas has become a safe and wonderful city, unlike our cities that are getting worse and worse with this horrible invasion that Kamala in particular, because I'm no fan of Biden. He's been a terrible president, doesn't know what he's doing, and he proved that during the debate. But you know what? He assigned her the job, and whether you call her a border czar or just say that she was put in charge of the border, doesn't make any difference. Same thing. She's done a horrible job, and she'll be out there tomorrow standing probably in front of the wall that I built, trying to say what a wonderful job she did, and the fake news will believe her because that's what they want to do. But she didn't, and I hope everybody out there understands that. The Border Patrol custody was incredible, and I have to say that Border Patrol has done an amazing job under the circumstances. And you heard Tom Homan many times say there was never anywhere near anybody as good as President Trump when it came to all of the things that we're talking about, the border, crime on the border. And he said there wasn't anybody even close as president. In Albany last May, an illegal alien who was caught and released by Kamala Harris stalked and raped a 15-year-old girl, driving up behind her, abducting her by force with a metal pipe, and raping her again and again, over and over, and hurting her very badly. In Indiana this June, a woman was kidnapped by two illegal aliens, brought to a house, held down and raped, and then forced into the back of a car while illegals drove around talking about how to kill her. Let's find out how to kill her. She threw herself out of the moving vehicle, was badly hurt, but escaped. And she said, they didn't mean to rape me, they meant to kill me. That was her statement. Earlier this year, an illegal migrant from Haiti granted entry by Kamala and her horrible policies, and in particular her phone app, which nobody can even believe exists. And the people that deal with the phone app are the cartel heads, if you can believe this. They're actually put there, I believe, for the heads of the cartels. And they call it, and they tell you exactly where to illegally bring the people that they've, in many cases, abducted. The phone app, I hope the press looks into that. Brutally stabbed this woman to death. Two people in suburban Middletown, New York, are looking at this with a life that will always be shattered. It'll be shattered and can never be the same. The brutality was unbelievable. And despite all of this, Kamala Harris intends to stand before the American people tomorrow and lie. She's going to lie just like she did about her job at McDonald's, just like she did about the 818,000 jobs that they created that were fake jobs. They didn't exist. It's a fraud. And there's nothing nice about what I'm saying. Our country's in trouble. And we need people that know how to take care of our country and take care of our border. Without borders and without fair elections, we have no country. She wants to pretend that she had a secure border. But all you have to do is look at the numbers. The worst border anywhere, probably anywhere in the world. There's never been a border like this. A third world country would have used sticks and stones to get people out. They wouldn't let millions and millions of people invade. But if that were true, and if she were going to announce tomorrow that she's going to do something about it, why hasn't she done it? And why didn't she do it almost 4 years ago? All of these things she could have done 4 years ago. You will hear Kamala claim that the reason the border is not secure is that Congress has refused to pass her atrocious border bill. It's the worst bill you've ever seen. It would allow people to come in here at levels that would be incredible and would allow them to get citizenship. But it was not a border bill. It was an amnesty bill. And they duped a couple of people that shouldn't have been duped. It would give her the power to put all newly entering illegal aliens on a fast track to citizenship. It would enshrine and expand catch and release, and it would give a permanent feature of federal laws that are absolutely unacceptable. She keeps talking about this law that they tried to put through Congress, but fortunately Congress was too smart for it. It would have been a disaster. It would have established a minimum number of illegal aliens who must be important, because 2 million people per year at a minimum would have been under this ridiculous bill, would have been allowed into our country. 2 million people. Now, of course, that's peanuts compared to what's coming in now and what's coming in when the damage was really done. Look, the damage was done. They're trying to make it look better now. But the damage was done over the first 3 years. They're trying to do anything to make it look better, because it doesn't poll very well for them, but it polls very well for me. I think I won the election in 2016 because of the border. I fixed the border. I couldn't even talk about the border. My people would say, "Sir, nobody's listening. You fixed it. Nobody cares." In 2020. Then I got millions of more votes in 2020 than I got in 2016, the most votes of any sitting president in history by far. But I couldn't talk about the border because I fixed it. I fixed it. It was great. But now we can talk about the border because this border, they unfixed it. This border is the worst border. And by the way, 25 times worse and more deadly than the border in 2016. That was considered a good border by compared to this. But it would provide the bill, alien taxpayer-funded lawyers. Every illegal alien would have a taxpayer-funded lawyer. This is the bill that she said she wants. And funnel millions of dollars of left-wing organizations, people, to come into our country. It would enable human trafficking. And by the way, she also wanted to have transgender operations for illegal migrants that were in detention. Now think of that. She also wanted, as you know, to defund the police. She wants to defund the police. She was one of the leaders in the defund the police movement, and that lasted for years. And anybody that wants to defund the police for one day should never have the right to be president of the United States. And she was one of the leaders in that movement. But think of that. She wants to give sex change operations to people in detention that came in illegally and are classified as illegal migrants. If they want a sex change operation, she said, that's okay, we'll do that. The only way to secure our border is to fire radical border czar Kamala Harris this November. Look, we talk about the border. She's been just as bad on everything else. We have the worst inflation, I think, in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but that's pretty bad, too. But I think the actual number of years is, I think it brings it out to the worst ever. Kamala Harris endorsed abolishing ICE. She is seen as a down with deportations opportunist, but people don't realize that the people of this country want deportations of those criminals. They want the murderers out. They want the drug dealers out. They want everybody out who's going to hurt them. They want to have a safe country. As I said, before being interrupted by lightweight anchor David Muir, crime is massively up in our country. It's very lucky the Department of Justice released numbers right after that debate. Somebody in there might like me, but they released numbers, giving the real numbers, and the numbers were unbelievably, shockingly high, the highest ever. And I haven't gotten an apology. I want an apology from ABC. She supports free taxpayer-funded health care for illegal aliens, and even, as I said, some of the horrible things that she's willing to do, including the sex change operations for people in detention. She called for abolishing immigration detention centers. She wants to have detention centers, but detention centers that you can get out of. Remember when in 2014 Obama built cages and the fake news tried to say I built them. Fortunately, we had a great American that said, no, these were built during the Obama administration, and Biden knew about it, but I don't think Biden knows too much. And we have one other thing that she's called. She's called the grandmother of sanctuary cities. I'm going to terminate all sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals. They're sanctuaries for criminals. And, you know, you can go to California where she ruined San Francisco. She destroyed. San Francisco may have been the greatest city in the world 16, 18 years ago. And now it's a practically unlivable place. And I hate to say that. I have property in San Francisco. It's not a good thing to say, but this far supersedes my ownership of property. It's an unlivable place. It was the best city. Bob Tisch of Lowe's, friend of mine, great guy, wonderful man. He was in San Francisco. He was in Chicago. He had big businesses all over, the Tisch family. Bob Tisch used to tell me that he thinks San Francisco is the greatest city in the country. He passed away quite a while ago. And San Francisco probably was, and now it's not even livable. She destroyed it when she was the DA, and she destroyed the state of California along with Gavin Newsom. She destroyed the state of California when she was the AG. If you can't say the phrase illegal alien, she said, then we can't trust you to secure the border. She said, you're not allowed to say the phrase under any circumstance illegal alien, but that's what they are. And it's that simple. She didn't want you to use that term. If you used that term, you'd be fired. And by the way, she fired everybody in a row. She couldn't get along with anybody. You know, it's interesting. 5 months ago, she was considered the worst vice president in history. She was laughed at, scoffed at for 3 years. She was the worst. Her staff hated her beyond belief. They were quitting. She had almost nobody wanted to work there. She couldn't get people to work for her. And she was just considered as bad as it gets. And she wasn't going to be chosen. No way that she was going to be chosen to replace Joe Biden. We had the debate. After the debate, they said, oh, this guy, we got to change him. I think we were up 21 points. But they went in there, and everyone knows they threatened the 25th Amendment. They threatened him with the 25th Amendment. They said, Joe, you're going to get out. And Nancy Pelosi led the charge. And Nancy Pelosi has a little problem because her husband sold their Visa stock. They had a lot of Visa stock one day before Visa was announced that Visa is being sued by the Department of Justice. Think of that. Nancy Pelosi sold vast amounts of Visa stock one day before the big lawsuit that we all read about a few days ago was brought against Visa. You think it was luck? I don't think. She should be prosecuted. Nancy Pelosi should be prosecuted for that. And she should also be prosecuted for J6 because she turned down 10,000 or any number she wanted, soldiers or National Guard. And I hope you all read John Solomon and what John Solomon wrote 2 days ago, because if you read it, you'd see that Donald Trump did absolutely nothing wrong. It's a scam. It's a scam. On day one of my new administration, I will stop all migrant flights immediately. They should stop them tonight. She can do that. Just sign one little page saying stop the migrant flights. But she won't do that. They're infecting our country. They're destroying our country. I will shut down all entries through the migrant phone app, something that most of you haven't even heard of, but it's very active and taking in thousands and thousands of people a week. I will end catch and release, and I will restore, remain in Mexico. I'm going to tell Mexico, thank you very much. You're putting it back right away. You're putting it back, and they will do it too when I tell them. I will bring back Title 42. I will send a federal law enforcement large group of people, but a tough group of people to liberate Aurora, Colorado. The governor of Colorado is petrified of these gangs. These are Venezuelan gangs with equipment better than our military has, going in with guns. The governor of Colorado is a coward. He's afraid to do what you have to do. And every other town that has been taken over by the migrant gangs and criminal alien thugs. And I think I'll go to a couple of these towns over the next 2 weeks. You'll see for yourself what's happened to them. They've been literally destroyed. I will send Congress a bill to ban sanctuary cities in the first day that I become president. And I will tell you, whether it's California or any place else, you might have guys like the governor, Newsom, or others that are governors wanting it. Nobody knows why. But the people don't want them. You can go and ask the people of California, do you want sanctuary cities? The people, including Democrats, will say we don't want them. We will seal the border. We will stop the invasion, and we will begin the largest deportation of criminals, the criminal element, which is a large portion. We will start that immediately. Dwight Eisenhower had the largest deportation effort ever in our country, President Eisenhower, because he hated the fact that people were able to pour across our border. This will be much larger than that, but we will get rid of the drug dealers. We will get rid of the human traffickers. We will get rid of the murderers, the people that came out of jails, and the people that came out of mental institutions. They will all be gone, and it'll happen very quickly. We'll be dealing with local law enforcement who knows everything about every one of them. Their name, their serial number, they know everything. We respect our police, and we're going to respect law and order again. So I appreciate everybody being here. I just wanted to make this statement before Kamala goes down to the border. Anything she says tomorrow, you know, is a fraud, because she was the worst in history at protecting our country. So she'll try and make herself look a little bit better, but it's not possible. Normally, I would save this speech till after she leaves, but there's not a thing she can say to make it change. As you know, President Zelensky is asked to meet with me, and I will be meeting with him tomorrow morning at around 9:45 in Trump Tower. And it's a shame what's happening in Ukraine. So many deaths, so much destruction. It's a horrible thing. And one of the things that are very bothersome to me is the fact that Europe is paying only a small fraction of the money that the United States of America is paying. And we have an ocean between Russia and ourselves. They don't. So I see what's happening there. It's very, very sad. But we're in for numbers that nobody can even believe. And as you know, the European nations, as a combination, their economy is fairly close to the size of ours. So it's similar. They should be equalizing. They should start paying up. I did this with NATO. I made them all pay. Bush would make a speech and leave. Obama would make a speech and leave. And I said, you got to pay. If you don't pay, we're not going to be there. And everybody paid. And the Secretary General, good man, he said, I've never seen anything like it. For 10 years, we've been trying to get them to pay, and it was only Trump that was able to do it. He was very honest. It's true. That's where they have the money to do what they're doing right now. But they all paid, most of them anyway, hundreds of billions of dollars they paid, and they paid it fast. They said, sir, does that mean you won't protect us if we don't pay? I said, you mean you're delinquent? Yes, let's say we're delinquent. No, you won't be protected. The money came pouring in. Nobody else wanted to say that, and the press thought it was terrible that I made that statement. But if I didn't make that statement, we'd still be paying. You know, we were paying for NATO, most of it, almost all of it, maybe all of it for years. So I'm going to see President Zelensky tomorrow, and thank you all very much. Thank you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the mayor well, but he's been fairly generous to me in his statements for a while. I thought you had the worst mayor ever that we had prior to him. I will say this. I watched about a year ago when he talked about how the illegal migrants are hurting our city and the federal government should pay us and we shouldn't have to take them. And I said, you know what? He'll be indicted within a year. And I was exactly right. Because that's what we have. We have people that use the Justice Department and the FBI at levels that have never been seen before. So I wish him luck. I don't know anything about what he did, but I told a lot of people right over there, that group was saying, you know, sir, you were right about that. When they mentioned that, I said, they came in and he was pretty strong about it. He said, this is really unfair to make us carry this burden. We shouldn't be doing this. This is New York City. I mean, your parks are loaded up. I just passed recently Madison Avenue, the Roosevelt Hotel. It's like nobody would recognize it. That's Midtown. But he came out very strongly against it. He was right, by the way, because it's ruining our country. He was honest. And I said, he will be indicted within a year, and that's what happened. And I noticed the indictment's very old. It goes back a long time. Well, I had the same thing. They went way before the statute of limitations. So I wish him well, but I said that he will be indicted because he did that. You take a look. That's what they do. These are dirty players. These are bad people. They cheat, and they do anything necessary. These are bad people. And we need an honest Justice Department, we need an honest FBI, and we need it fast. Yeah.
Mr. President, Keir Starmer, UK Premier.
Yes, he's coming tonight.
What do you think of him? Some of his colleagues have gathered quite critical of you.
Well, I'm going to see him in about an hour, so I have to be nice, right?
Yeah.
But I actually...
All right, Right Side Broadcasting. I don't know what's going on. Their shit's frozen. You can see their banner moving on the screen. Their camera is dead in the water, but their feed is live. Weird. Come on back. Come on, do the thing. Right Side Broadcasting's kind of been dropping the ball the last 3 days. First two speeches were blurry. I think one of them was even a rally. And now they got the camera all frozen. Dang it. Well, we'll see. Come on, Right Side Broadcasting. I wonder if his channel is doing the thing. Let me see.
The last person that you guys want to see right now is me, because obviously President Trump there in the middle of a press conference and there's some technical difficulties. As soon as that gets back up and running, we'll be bringing that to you live right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. President Trump had a smart political move today, getting ahead of the fake speech that you will hear possibly tomorrow with Kamala Harris on the southern border in Arizona. She's slated to go to the southern border to talk about the border situation. Well, again, President Trump saying, why haven't you taken care of this over the past 3.5 years? A smart political game of chess right there by President.
See how it's been so broken, so many people dead, where they have to use old soldiers, old men and young boys because they're running out of soldiers. It's a very terrible thing. And then you see that the United States is paying for most of it, and Europe is not chipping in. And all you have to do with Europe is the same thing I did with NATO. Say you have to pay. And if you say you have to pay, they will. It's very unfair to the United States, but I look forward to seeing him tomorrow. We'll see. I do believe, I disagree with him. Well, he doesn't know me, but I disagree. But I will say this. I believe I will be able to make a deal between President Putin and President Zelensky quite quickly. I don't want to tell you what that is.
Vice President suggested today that your strategy with Ukraine amounts to surrender to Russia. How do you respond?
No, I don't think so. And it's not a surrender. What my strategy is to save lives. I want to save lives. Millions of people are dead. Millions more than they even think about. And it's not my fight, but it is a fight to save humanity. That is a terrible, let me explain. That is a terrible war that would have never happened. And it didn't happen. I even have Democrats. I watched them on To Face the Nation and some of the shows this weekend. And they said, well, we agree that it wouldn't have happened if Trump were president. I was very generous of them. But it would have never happened. That's what bothers me even more. There was no reason for that war to happen. But it did happen. And millions of people are dead, including soldiers from both sides. It's so sad to see it. And I'll meet with President Zelensky and we'll see what happens. But I believe I can work that out. It would have been, I will say this, it would have been a lot easier to work out prior to the start. And Putin never, ever even thought about going in. And it was the apple of his eye. I knew him very well, had a very good relationship, despite the Russia hoax. It was a total hoax. But we had a very good relationship. Fortunately, otherwise we could have ended up in war over that. It's very dangerous. You know, when you make up stories like that, it's very dangerous. The laptop from hell was very dangerous. But Putin told me often, it's the apple of his eye. But I said, Vladimir, don't even think about doing it. He would have never done it. And then, of course, through stupid oil policies and energy policies where oil got up to almost $100 a barrel, Putin said, wow, I have a lot more money than I thought I had. And he prosecuted the war. But even if it went up, and it wouldn't have gone up like that, that's what caused inflation, that and stupid spending for the Green New Deal, which was a Green New Scam, turned out. Do you notice that they don't ever mention anything about environment anymore? What happened to the environment? They don't mention it. They don't mention that the ocean's going to rise 1/4 inch over the next 500 years. They don't mention it anymore. It's incredible. I will say this, though. What they should start mentioning is nuclear warming. Because we're in grave danger. The world is in grave danger. And you better get smart people. You know, during my term, I never mentioned the word nuclear. But that's the warming that you're going to have to be very careful with. And we're very close to World War III. Whether it's the Middle East or that, October 7th would have never happened. Iran had no money. I guess that's probably why you hear the stories about Iran. Only a consequential president would have this happen. Only a consequential president. But Iran would have made a deal with us. It would have been a great deal for them. The only thing is they cannot have nuclear weapons. And we would have had it because Iran had no money during my administration. They were broke. And they would have made a deal and they would have been happy. And they would have had an unbelievable civilization. But it didn't work out that way because of a thing that was very sad to watch. That was the election, a very sad thing to watch.
Would you still make a deal with them now after everything's happened?
Make a deal with who? Make a deal with who?
Would you try to make a deal with Iran sometime if you were reelected?
Sure, I would do that. Yeah, I believe in getting. It doesn't matter. I have a great memory, but it's a memory that wants to serve the people. We have to make a deal because the consequences are impossible. We have to make a deal, and if they would have had a deal, I would have said we would have had the results of the election been correct. We would have had a deal within 1 week after the election. I was prepared to get it done within 1 week after the election. They could have done that too, but they had no idea how to go about it. They could have done it because I gave them a country that wanted to make a deal. They had to. There was no money to Hamas. There was no money to Hezbollah because Iran didn't have the money. Now Iran has $300 billion. They made it all in the last 3.5 years. The sanctions came off. They made it all in the last 3.5 years. Plus, they essentially have Iraq as a subsidiary, and Iraq has $300 billion. So Iran is a very rich country. They have $600 to $650 billion, including Iraq. Iraq doesn't like it when I say that, but that's true. They're really a subsidiary because foolishly Bush wiped out. You had two powerful forces. One of those forces got wiped out. And now the other force, after 1,000 years, walks in and just essentially takes it over. So it's very sad to watch. But Iran now is a big force because they're very rich. Iran was not rich at all. Iran didn't have the money to take care of the various organizations of terror. Okay.
Leaders yesterday at the UN General Assembly came together to call for an immediate ceasefire. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is speaking at the UN tomorrow. He has refused to do that. What would you do differently to prevent the Middle East?
Well, you have to have that ended one way or the other. The world isn't going to take it. You have to have that ended, and I would think that we're getting close to a point where maybe it can end pretty soon. But you're going to have to end. That's unacceptable. The whole thing over there is unacceptable. That's another one. October 7th would have never happened. Would have never happened. Ukraine and Russia would have never happened. Think of it. Would have never happened. Inflation would have never happened. Think of the world. The Afghanistan pullout in that way. We would have pulled out, but we would have pulled out with dignity and strength. I'm the one that got it down to that number. But I would have kept Bagram, because Bagram is this massive Air Force base that we built many, many years ago with billions and billions of dollars, the most powerful runways that can hold more load than any other runway in the world. And we walked away from it. And it wasn't Afghanistan that was the problem. We walked away from a great military base that we built to the highest specifications that was 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. We are being run by Kamala, who is grossly incompetent. All you have to do is look at her interview last night, look at her interview with Oprah, look at her interview with the gentleman from Pennsylvania. All you have to do is look around and you'll see it. We had 4 years of incompetent leadership. We cannot, as a country, sustain another 4 years. Thank you very much. Let's get some peace. We need peace. We need to stop the death and destruction. Don't you think? Wouldn't that be nice? Huh? Well, there'll be a lot of people. Many of the leaders have been calling me, and they want to meet me. So I guess they see the poll numbers. We're leading in the polls, by the way, very seriously. The Daily Mail just came out. It's a very big poll, and we're up by 10. So it's an honor. But we have no choice. If we don't win this election, we're not going to have a country. Thank you very much.
Well, that was President Trump live in New York City at Trump Tower. RightSide Broadcasting kind of dropped the ball there. Thankfully, President Trump has been running his own lives for a couple weeks now. I pointed out that the last 2 lives that President Trump has been a part of have been blurry. The camera is blurry. The banners on the screen are all fine, but the camera feed is blurry. And so if this was going to be blurry, I was going to just use his feed anyway, and then RightSide Broadcasting dropped the ball. I don't know what happened, but they had technical difficulties, so I just went right over to President Trump's channel that they run themselves. We may just go that route from here on out. We'll see. I like RightSide Broadcasting. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but, you know, shit happens. I know I have technical problems all the time. I got technical problems right now. But that's okay. That's okay. We still got to hear President Trump live. We got our 2 funny videos of the day, or their feel-good videos, or whatever they are. They're good videos instead of news videos. But first, we're going to read through the chat really quick and see what you hooligans think about President Trump, because I see a lot of clashing ideas, and I think that is very interesting. I think it's really interesting that everybody is disagreeing with each other today. Usually something big happens that causes that. You know, President Trump gets shot at, and then somebody goes, yeah, he was shot here, and then somebody else is like, no, it was over there, and somebody was like, no, it was on a Wednesday, and then everybody starts fighting each other because conservatives are worried about being right instead of just being on the same page, and that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. That's okay. So we're going to read through the chat really quick, get everybody's feelings all hurt, and then we will cover our 2 fun videos of the day, and then we'll be wrapping things up. Zero, yeah, world leaders are calling him, not Camilla or Joe, calling Trump. Yeah, Zero, that's what I think is going on. I know a lot of people are all bent out of shape because President Trump said that he's meeting with Zelensky from the Ukraine and all of that, and they all have their own little opinions about it and whatnot. But when President Trump has been going out there for about a year saying he is going to solve the war between Russia and Ukraine, how do you think he's going to do that? You think he's going to just snap his little fingers and shit's going to happen? Zelensky's going to talk to him directly. I don't know why anybody would think that's a bad thing. I can't even figure it out, because you got to talk to people to get shit done. And I don't know what they're going to do or what they're going to plan, or if Trump's going to throw a few doll hairs at him. I don't know what's going to happen. But it makes sense that he would talk to Zelensky. It looks like he's rolling out his policy before he even got, before he's even in the White House. He's already laying down the groundwork and stuff. And like we were saying before we even knew that was going to happen, all the leaders are going to see President Trump. And like I had said back at the beginning of the live, I don't remember that ever happening. To have people that, go to the White House and then go to Mar-a-Lago, or even just skip the White House and go straight to Mar-a-Lago to see President Trump. There's something going on. People trust him more than they trust the current administration. I mean, that's kind of a no-duh if you compare the 2 administrations. But I think people think something bad is, I don't know. It's weird to see him doing what he's telling you he's going to do, and then seeing people go and being against it. Why are you against it? Like, we already knew he was going to do that. We didn't know it was going to be today or tomorrow or whenever. But why are you against it all of a sudden? I don't understand that. But either way, reading through. Russell, the Zelensky meeting is important. I think so. Jay Spray, Zelensky wants to stop the war and NATO won't let him. It very well could be, Jay Spray. Payne, I don't know why you're dropping all that stupid Q shit in the chat. All it makes me want to do is wait for the day and time so then I can go, see, you were wrong. Fuck, and I don't want to do that, but that Q shit is hopium. It just gets people all excited about shit that'll never come true. It's weird, the CIA creates a forum, and then people who claim to be patriots goes and listens to the CIA drag them out into the darkness, and I don't get that. I don't get that. Hey, I appreciate you, MU. Thank you for being here with us. Easy Pass. Be interesting if the meeting with the prostitute president of Ukraine was streamed live. I don't know if it will be. I'm trying to think, because somebody else went to see President Trump not that long ago, and I can't remember if they even went to the White House. And I can't remember who it was, but I want to say that it wasn't streamed live. I think they did show the individual meeting with President Trump, and then they like wandered into the building and the live ended. But the meeting, I don't think they would live stream the actual meeting itself. And that's what I said, like, I don't know what they're going to do behind closed doors. I have no idea. I don't know. But I expect these people to talk. I expect at some point Putin's going to talk to President Trump. Now, is Putin going to come here and do it? Probably not. Probably not. But when they make that phone call, I'm not going to sit here and get all bent out of shape. We knew that was going to happen. You know what I mean? They're going to start. If he intends on stopping the war, unless he intends on turning both places into glass, he's going to have to talk to them. He's going to have to say, hey, buddy, making this phone call, it's really important, or whatever. So, I don't know. What's up, combat vet? Happy freedom. Paying all that money goes to BlackRock Rebuild. Didn't they just liquidate a bunch of stuff? That's why a lot of people think that something's going to happen in the stock market. It's because BlackRock started liquidating assets. BlackRock and, what is the other one? I keep wanting to say Van Andel. It's not Van Andel. Vanguard. Both of them. They've been liquidating their assets, and they own a big percentage of stock in the market. Rip Curl, I'm not sure. I just know that I had to get away from that Q stuff. I was letting it into the communities that I run, and it ends up being poison. It sounds great. It's like buying everybody lottery tickets. When you got the ticket in your hand, you're all excited, and they call the numbers, and what happens? It ain't you. And then what? And you feel like you wasted your money. That's what Q is. You see that shit, and you're like, there's a chance I'm going to win. And then that day comes and goes. And all those people who have been telling you were crazy, they're right that day. And you get all bummed out because what you were promised never happened. And then the very next day, you go and buy another lottery ticket. And I'm watching people leave and get mad and fight with their friends and doing just burn. They just burn their life down. I'm like, why? Well, because it ain't never going to be better. It's bad all the time. It'll always be bad, and it'll never get better. And we can't do anything about it because we're just little peons in this giant world of corrupt politicians. And then they, debate deleting themselves and shit. You know what? You stay the fuck away from that hopium. It ain't that impacting on your life. You can just focus on what matters and what don't matter. You can focus on living instead of dying. And then as shit gets better, good. And as it gets worse, well, fuck. But at least you ain't being lied to the whole way, and especially being asked to be lied to. That just doesn't make sense to me, but that's my own opinion. Hey, thanks for being here, Leah. Guess who? Trump will say, if there's no peace, the Diddy tapes of Putin and Zelensky will be made public. That's right, guess who? That's what he's saying. They're actually having a feud right now, Putin and Zelensky. They used to be boyfriends. And then it all went downhill at some point, and now they're just, feuding it out. There's a bunch of drama going on. President Trump's got to get involved. He's like, listen, bitch, you don't want me to release these tapes? You're going to have to cut this little argument out. And that's what's going to happen. I wish we could stream it live, but it's okay. At least we know what's happening. Anyways, reading through. Mushroom Q, I think, is a CIA psyop. I think so, too. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how somebody can lie to you for 4 years and you still get excited when they make a new post. Don't make any sense to me. Like I said, I used to entertain that shit. I get the fuck out. And I don't care if people listen to it or whatever, but, when you bring it to me, just know this is how it's going to be every single time. I got to deal with a lot of people. So dealing with people believing lies is something I don't really have time for, unfortunately. And I feel bad for those people. Nefties, it's an unfortunate psyop. Yeah. I want things to get better too, but believing the lies is only going to hurt yourself. Plus, I think it puts you on a list. I think Q gives you words and phrases, and you go out into the world and you share it. And then the CIA and the FBI, they can just search shit. They just search their own phrases. They're like, who typed in pure blood? Oh, these people did. Great. These people listen to us as we post as Q. Let's continue to post and mislead these people. They'll spread the information. They'll connect each other. We'll put it all on a list, and now we can categorize everybody because they're going out there and sharing CIA asset information unintentionally because they're being misled. And everybody gets added to the list in the category because you're saying your thoughts out loud. You're categorizing yourself on the internet where things are searchable. But that's okay. I'd rather have people tell me I'm wrong than acknowledge what I'm saying, I suppose, because that's what I do every day. Zero, Trump has to speak with all the leaders, normal leader stuff. Yeah. I don't care about the little shit. I want to see President Trump make it to inauguration. That's my big worry. You know, everybody's worried about this, that, and the other. I want to see President Trump make it to inauguration. Because we still got to worry about making it to election day. We got to try to make it to inauguration day and all that stuff. And we know the machines are going to be rigged, and the Democrats are going to be doing what Democrats do. And like I said, after election day, everyone's going to be mad. Whether it's MAGA or dickless Democrats. There's going to be mad people. And things are going to feel turned up. The heat's going to be turned up. And so the infighting drives me nuts. It's frustrating because it's about stupid shit. It's like people in the chat arguing if strawberry ice cream is better than chocolate ice cream. How about you shut the hell up? How about that? Shut the hell up. We shouldn't be fighting about stupid shit. Nobody knows anything unless you're on the Trump team, and if you're not, we're all just speculating. There's no reason to fight with each other and stuff. It's annoying. Super annoying. Astro Hammer, but I like Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I don't care if you guys believe whatever you want to believe. It is what it is. And that's exactly what I think it is. Lee Guitarman. I agree with Q being a CIA op. Also, I agree President Trump should be meeting with country leaders. I'd be suspect if he wasn't. Yeah, Lee Guitarman. And I worry about that too. Like that, and that's what I'm looking at, you know, is the policies. I want the policies. Yeah, Trump's hilarious, and he talks a whole bunch of shit. He's a great reality TV star, right? He's good for that kind of entertainment, but the votes are for policy. And so if he's gonna, you know, be talking to foreign leaders and stuff, then I'm not gonna get all weird about it. I don't want him to be like real cool with those people. I want him to have, you know, America's back and stuff, and I trust that he does. But yeah, I think that the fact that leaders are meeting with him before he even makes it to the White House is important thing that's happening. It's something that is kind of eye-opening, something that people should keep an eye on, because like I said, that is not normal. That's not normal. Usually the White House is all you need to see if you need to talk about things happening in our country. Why are they going to Mar-a-Lago? Because Trump's the man. That's why. So something's going on. Something's going on. These leaders out here are going to see President Trump. If President Trump doesn't have any power, then why are they going to see him? It's because of the possibility of him being the next person in the Oval Office, and they know he ain't going to play any games. He didn't play any games last time. And so we'll see. All I know is we got to vote November 5th. We got to vote for our future, and hopefully it all works out. And then, you know, if shit goes left, we'll talk about that too, you know? Whatever's whatever, but we can't worry about the bad stuff right now. We got to just hope for the best, you know? Besides, we'll let the Democrats burn shit down there, and no need for us to be doing it. So we're going to get into our feel-good videos of the day, or whatever these are. They're in the middle. This first one's titled, And So It Begins. This is pretty much a funny video. The next one's like a feel-good video. But before we get into this, let me get this pulled up. Can you pause the video? Okay, good enough. Can I make it full screen? I can. So before we get into this, I want to give you guys the last reminder of the day. If you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use that Linktree link in order to make donations. You could do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. Like I said, this is our first funny video of the day, and it's titled, And So It Begins. I don't know why he's doing the donkey cat pose. He was just flying through the air like that. Reminds me of Klaus Daniels. Anyways, we're going to get into our feel-good video of the day. This is our... Come on, thing. This is our official feel-good video of the day, and this is how we are going to be wrapping up today's live. So let's get this rolling. Once again, this is Elfie's Just Happy to See Us.
Boy. Alfie, Alfie! Hey, boy, you being crazy? Are you having a beautiful life, Alfie, boy?
Yeah. That reminds me of Klaus Daniels. That's exactly how it goes. Well, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. I'm going to drop this Linktree link to all of you hooligans. And then we will be reading through the chats, doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and wrapping things up. But we will be live again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. And we're going to be super busy. I think we got President Trump once or twice. We got the voice chat over on the website at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We got Coffee with Hooligans. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff tomorrow. So definitely look forward to that. Andrew, it's at the very beginning. I think it's our very first video of the day. All right. And happy freedom to you, Andrew. All right, hooligans, there is the Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you would like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, I would really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there keeping the conversation going 24/7. And we have a news board to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience the live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and all kinds of stuff right there in the chat while you're watching the live. You'll also be able to post in Hooligans Alley, which is our built-in social media area. It's kind of like Facebook or Twitter, but there's no fact checkers, there's no crying liberals, and we don't have any crazy community guidelines. It's the way the social media is supposed to be. We also have forums to encourage open discussion. We have an arcade that is full of games for you to hang out and play with. And then we also have an advanced messaging system with built-in group chats that give you the ability to text each other, call each other, video call each other, group texting, group calling, group video calling, and more. There's tons of stuff being added to the website every day, so definitely go get yourself a membership for jeffmaclive.com. It's the home of the hooligans. We're going to read through really quick, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up, and we'll be wrapping things up for today. Thank you, Breeze by You. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Nefthese. Appreciate you stopping in. Breeze by You, cats. Yeah, cats being cats. I was actually having trouble finding funny videos today, but that's okay. Holy Nefthese. I'm sorry to hear that. Hair juicer. Which one of you dead motherfuckers said strawberry is better? Yeah, hair juicer. We're going to have to run a poll or something. We'll have to spell it correctly, because if we don't, Hyena Harris will show up, but we'll get it worked out. What is going on? What is going on? Dual Helix, don't say ginger. Why? Ginger with a hard R in it. Smells like gingers in here. You like that? Come on, man. That doesn't matter. That shit is so stupid. So stupid. You gonna drop that ginger with a hard R on it? Racism. Stupid. What were we doing last? It was a couple weeks ago we were doing this. Oh, the Canucks. Talking about Canadians. How Canucks sounds like a racist word. Smell like a bunch of Canucks in here. That stuff is funny. It's funny. I don't know why everybody's getting bent out of shape. DK, you need to get out more. You're watching too many cat videos. I had a hard time finding funny videos of the day. Easy. That cat is UGLY. No alibi. I know. Alfie, he's a little ugly. He's a little ugly. He's got that singing voice, though. Too old to care. Demon ginger cats. They're a lot of fun, though. Easy pass. Video's definitely not from Springfield, Ohio. That's true. That's true. There is no Haitians involved in those videos. You Hillian, oh my god. I don't know what's going on. Cody, I like ginger ale. See, my chin hair is red, so I can say ginger with the hard R, okay? There's no racism. I'm allowed to say it. That's why I'm not banned right now. It can tell. I'm allowed to say that word. Quest, Trump says he's going to release some of the X-Files if he wins. Great. What's up, Duck and Felonies? Happy freedom. Scott, vanilla is the finest of the flavors. Oh, Scott. You're going to start some shit. We're going to have inter-platform hooligans going from chat to chat trying to figure out what flavor stands. Coralie, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Yeah, we got to bring that back. We got to bring that back. People getting mad just to be mad. Snooks, I don't know what they're doing over on Rumble. I assume it's trolling. There's no way that anybody cares that much about the word ginger. You know how many redheads I know? All of them. I know all of them. Every single one of them. That's ever been created by God. They love it when I say ginger. It makes it a little red hoo-ha wet. Okay? It's fine. It's fine. That's fine, Dual Helix. You can be mad about it if you want to. You gotta have red hair, though, because if you don't, you're fighting the wrong battles. Just saying. That's alright. Dual Helix can be mad, and the rest of us will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Alright, hooligans, it's that time once again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, doing the thing. I don't know if I'm muted or not because my damn meter works off and on, but that's okay. Gave it my best. We're going to read through the chat one last time just to make sure you hooligans are good to go. And we will be live again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. We got President Trump maybe more than once tomorrow. And then we also have the voice chat at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely go get yourself a membership for the website. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting, but either way, we're going to read through really quick. Russell, I like eating gingers. Yeah, well, they probably like it too. It's all good. It's a win-win. Tom, almost got my garden cleaned up for the year. A few more wheelbarrows full, and I'm done. Badass, Tom. Hey, thank you, Tom. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Breeze by You. Thanks, Matthew. Thank you, Pumpkin. Astro Hammer, I didn't... Oh, maybe you're not talking to me. Thank you, Green Falcon. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Too Old to Care. Thank you, Matthew. Done. I'm a damn Skittle. My hair couldn't pick a color. I'm turning white now, though. Yeah, done. I'm kind of like that, too. My hair up here is like 4 different kinds of brown and gray, and then my facial hair is red. Like, I don't know what God was thinking when he put me together. He just was having fun with it, I could tell. Pumpkin, they were playing. That's good, Pumpkin. I was hoping so. Hey, thank you, Dual Helix. Appreciate you being here with us, you hooligans. What's up, Keith? Happy freedom. Just saying, BlackRock and all those organizations are devil worshippers, and they love war and blood, and that's why they are investing in the Ukraine war. That's why CNN and Democrats want the war to continue. Yeah, just saying, you're over the target. What's up, Southern Eagleman? Happy freedom to you. Thank you, Lee Guitarman. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Tony Rich. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Courtly. Appreciate you, Parabellum. Thank you, Mushroom. You'll be all right, Salty Ginger. They're over on Rumble. They ain't seen you yet. Salty Ginger's like, oh no. Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I will see you Hooligans tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. And like I said, we got President Trump and we got the voice chat. We got all kinds of good stuff, and it's going to be fantastic. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you Hooligans, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.